The national anthem played here in St. Louis by the band from the 399th Army Band Corps at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. The color guard also from Fort Leonard Wood. And the teams are on the field now as the referee has also gone to midfield for the start of tonight's game. The referee for the contest tonight will be Peter Johnson of Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And his two linesmen will be local men, Marty Templin and Heinrich Schmidt, both of the St. Louis area. And the officials are at midfield right now as the color guard prepares to march off. We are at Washington University on the outskirts of St. Louis. It has been a pleasant day with a bit of breeze blowing here. Temperatures in the high 70s. The players felt the humidity a bit going into the warm-ups today. There was no official workout for the Seattle Sounders, but just a walk around town, a walk around Chase Park, as a matter of fact. Took about an hour just to loosen up the legs and get ready for the start of activities. And so the Seattle Sounders and the St. Louis Stars will do battle here tonight at Francis Field at Washington University. Right at this moment, some minutes early for the start of the game, the referee has both teams lined up on the field. I don't know whether we're going to start a little bit early or not, but they're certainly out there and loosening up and ready to go as the linesmen check the nets at the goals and everybody gets ready to go. For the St. Louis Stars again, the forwards will be Joey Clarke. Denny Vaninger, the young man in the middle, about 6 feet 2 inches tall. They call him the Blue Max because he plays so well in the air, and he's a big one. He's a fine striker, a young American out of St. Louis University. As a matter of fact, most of this team is homegrown. Of the 11 starting players tonight for the St. Louis Stars, only one is not born in the St. Louis area, and that's left back Roger Verdi, who was born in Kenya and has played professional soccer in Great Britain and also previously with other teams in the North American Soccer League. The Seattle Sounders have a new player tonight, as now the players are shooed off the field. The fans are still coming in here tonight. Not all the seats are filled. The fans are trooping in, and we almost got it underway a little bit early. The new player for the Seattle Sounders going into tonight's game is Chris Bennett. He will start at center midfield. Chris, a Canadian youngster out of Vancouver, BC, and a member of the Canadian national team. Chris, a redhead, was obtained in a trade with the Vancouver Whitecaps, and the trade sent the North American Soccer League rights to Tommy Baldwin to Vancouver. Baldwin, who is not back with the Sounders this year after playing for Seattle a year ago, and his rights have been traded to the Vancouver Whitecaps for Chris Bennett, who played in the final exhibition game at Highline on Tuesday night, but now joins the team on a regular basis. He flew into St. Louis this afternoon. He had not been here with the team, did not make the trip down on the airplane, but flew in this afternoon to join the team and got in about along about 2:30 this afternoon at the team hotel, and will be a very busy and a very important young man tonight, as John Best has made it obvious that one key part of his game tonight, his success, depends on controlling the midfield area, and the center midfielder, upon whom much of that will depend, will be the newcomer, Chris Bennett. And the other Seattle Sounders, of course, are pretty familiar to fans by now, with Dave Butler, Geoff Hurst, and Pepe Fernandez up front. Dave DeRico will start at left midfield, Tommy Jenkins on the right side. Harry Redknapp, by the way, did not make the trip because of his injured knee. He scouted the Vancouver-Portland game in Vancouver yesterday afternoon, in which Portland finally won it 3-2 in an overtime, a tiebreaker. It was tied 2-2 at the end of regulation time. And Harry took a look at those clubs because those are the next two home opponents in the Kingdome for the Seattle Sounders. Next activity for the Sounders at home will be a week from tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock in the Kingdome. Portland, the Timbers in town, and a big crowd, probably 45,000 expected for that game in Seattle at the Kingdome. And the following week on a Sunday afternoon, it might be that many again, as the Vancouver Whitecaps will come down across the border and will be playing in the Kingdome. The warm-ups are continuing on the field in front of us. Chersky getting a pretty good workout as the new youngster, Chris Bennett, works him with low drives out at midfield. No goalposts behind him, but Bennett's getting his shots, and Chersky is making his saves at the present time out there on the field. The Seattle Sounders tonight will wear their white jerseys, their blue shorts. The St. Louis Stars traditionally will be in their very dark blue jerseys and white soccer shorts. The Stars are going to defend the goal down to our right. The Seattle Sounders will have the goal to our left. And if my memory serves, the Sounders then will be defending the south end to our left, and the St. Louis Stars the north end to our right. Either that or I got on the wrong side of St. Louis on the way out here, and we're all in trouble getting ready for the game. But it is the St. Louis Stars against the Seattle Sounders. It's the Washington University campus, and it should be an exciting game tonight. The Stars with one league game under their belt. They lost a 2-1 to San Antonio, which is going to be a tough club this year. And the Seattle Sounders now finished with their exhibition play, and it all starts for real here tonight at Francis Field, just a couple of minutes away from kickoff time right now. The teams are on the field here at Francis Field in St. Louis, and we are just about ready to get this one underway. And this game is being simulcast from Francis Field at Washington University in St. Louis on KVI Seattle 570 and on KSTW Channel 11 Tacoma, Seattle. And we hope you enjoy tonight's game, whether on radio, television, or both, as the officials have gone to the center of the field with the ball. The referee is Peter Johnson of Windsor, Ontario. The linesmen are Marty Templin and Heinrich Schmidt of St. Louis. And the team captains have been consulted, and the teams are all warmed up and out of the sidelines. The Seattle Sounders directly down below us, and we're all set to go. Once again, for the Seattle Sounders, the starting lineup will have Tony Chersky in goal. The back four, John McLaughlin, Jimmy Gabriel, Dave Gillett, and Adrian Webster. The midfielders will be Dave DeRico, newcomer Chris Bennett, and Tommy Jenkins. And on the front line for Seattle, Dave Butler, Jeffrey Hurst, and Pepe Fernandez. And for the St. Louis Stars, Dave Jokerst will be in the goal down to our right, the north end of the stadium. The back four for St. Louis will be Roger Verdi, Gary Rensing, John Carenza, and Larry Hausmann. The Sounders are wearing their white jerseys. St. Louis will be in blue. The midfielders for St. Louis, Al Trost, Bob O'Leary, and Captain Pat McBride. And the attackers for St. Louis, the front line, Joey Clarke, Denny Vaninger, number 9, the man they call the Blue Max, and Jim Bokern. The ball has been put in the center of the field now by the referee, Peter Johnson, and we are waiting to get this one underway here at Francis Field in St. Louis University, or in St. Louis, Missouri, at Washington University. The field has been widened this year. In the past time we've been back here, last year was the one time we've played on this field. The previous year, the games were in Busch Stadium downtown. Last year, this field was much narrower. It has been stretched out to a full 75 yards. And although it is a bit bumpy along the sides as a result of the renovation, it is one of the wider fields now in North America. It is 5 yards wider than the pitch in the Kingdome in Seattle, so that'll give you some idea of the space they will have in which to play during the course of this match here at St. Louis tonight. Remember, the St. Louis Stars in blue have played and lost one game to San Antonio 2-1. The Seattle Sounders in white will be on the receiving end as St. Louis will have the ball at the start. The Sounders' first game in league play, and we're just about ready to get it underway as they're checking the ball now at midfield. Jeffrey Hurst taking a look at it. It has now been returned to the referee, and he is bringing it to midfield. Pat McBride, the captain of the St. Louis Stars, wears number 8 on his blue jersey, and with him Jim Bokern in the center circle waiting to get this underway. Big John Carenza, one of the backs, has the ball now. He's 6'4", formerly was a center forward. They've moved him back. Didn't have quite the quickness to be a center forward, but has the size to play well in the air. All right, we're underway. The ball goes back to Carenza. The St. Louis Stars have the ball and send it down the field in a hurry. Dave Gillett intercepts for the Sounders in the defensive zone. Back to play the ball. Jenkins gives it to Webster. Adrian sends the long ball up across midfield. Hurst in the air plays the ball to the right wing looking for Pepe Fernandez. He won't be the first man there, however. The St. Louis Stars get to it. Roger Verdi had the ball, kicked it out of bounds. It goes out of that 75-yard wide field, and the Seattle Sounders have the ball, but a foul had been called on Verdi as he overplayed Pepe Fernandez, and we have an indirect free kick coming for the Seattle Sounders. Adrian Webster, the defensive right back, will take it. 45 yards out on the right side. Goes forward, sends the ball deep into the goal mouth, looking for a teammate. Carenza heads it away. It'll go to the side of the field and out, and the Sounders will have a throw-in. You can certainly realize that there's not going to be much running to the touchline and throwing the ball in here tonight because they don't have much room between the fence and the sideline, about one, maybe step and a half. Pepe Fernandez to throw in, comes to the touchline, has the ball up overhead, throws it as far as he can into the penalty area, headed by Verdi. Verdi gets the ball on the ground. Hurst after him, got it back to Pepe Fernandez. Pepe goes one-on-one, drives the ball across in front. The goalkeeper cuts off the cross. Jokerst, in front of the rush of David Butler, made the move out, cut off the crossing pass, and now rolls the ball out to distribute to Verdi, his left back. Verdi back into Jokerst in the penalty area, and in the 18-yard box and wearing a visored cap, the goalkeeper rolls the ball forward. He's wearing a light green shirt, contrasting color. Here's the volley across midfield, waiting Jenkins, heads it back into the circle. Now the ball goes to the new Seattle Sounder. He's played the ball for the first time, Chris Bennett. He's a redhead, and he was fouled from behind, and Jimmy Gabriel quickly sends the ball down deep, looking for Jeffrey Hurst. Hurst goes deep, but he was offside. Offside flag went up as Geoffrey Hurst went deep, and the foul was called against the Seattle Sounders. No score in the match. We're just underway. We're still in the second minute of competition. Ball is rolled outside the 18-yard box. Carenza sends it into Jokerst, the goalkeeper, and Jokerst has the ball now back inside the penalty area to our right. Here's the kick on the volley. Long, not too high, but goes deep downfield. Taken on the chest by John McLaughlin. Headed away by Vaninger. Gabriel wins the ball in a battle near the sidelines. A race for it now. McBride has the ball for the St. Louis Stars. His pass back, meant for Larry Hausmann coming up the field, goes out, but was deflected away by a Sounder. From the 35-yard line comes the throw in. Out to Carenza in the middle of the field. Left foots it down inside the Seattle defensive zone. Dave DeRico goes back, played it with a head, puts the ball on the ground, being well pursued there by Jim Bokern. Got the ball out over the 35-yard line. St. Louis brings it right back in again. Bob O'Leary trying to get it across in front. Got it there. Here's Joey Clarke. He gets it in front to Vaninger. Back to Clarke down the left side. Hits it high in the air now. A race for it. Vaninger heads the ball. It goes over everybody. McLaughlin ducked under it, let it go over the goal line. It'll be a goal kick for the Seattle Sounders. Sounder goal kick coming. A Rainier Bank home improvement loan can be used to redecorate every room in your house, and it comes in every style and color. Rainier Bank. Sounders will spot the ball with Tony Chersky, Canadian national goalkeeper for a time, spotting the ball, wearing a bright red shirt, bright red socks tonight. Tony Chersky from North Delta, British Columbia. Here's the kick upfield to midfield, headed by David Butler. Into the center circle it goes. Up to try and hit it now for the Seattle Sounders goes Chris Bennett. Ball is on the ground, a scramble. McLaughlin went down, a St. Louis player went down. Ball comes out to Jenkins, got tangled up a bit with Dave DeRico. DeRico runs it off now to Bennett. Bennett to the right of the center circle, taps a pass head to Pepe Fernandez, cutting in off the right sideline, went by one, by another, and then had it taken away at the defensive line by Carenza. Carenza almost lost the ball as Hurst went after it. It goes back into the goal area and is gathered up now by Jokerst, and he throws quickly out to the left side to Verdi. Verdi, the Kenya-born youngster, drives the ball downfield along the touchline. Webster screens it. It goes out, and the Sounders will have a throw in directly below us. Adrian Webster gets the ball back behind his head. On the walk today, Adrian very interested. He spotted a great big building called the Colchester Apartments, and guess where Adrian used to play? That's Tommy Jenkins now throwing the ball in instead, and it's knocked immediately out. Both sides claiming for the ball, and St. Louis will get it, and Al Trost, the midfielder, will throw it in. Trost, who scored on about a 35-yard volley against the Sounders here a year ago, throws the ball deep downfield looking for a teammate. Bob O'Leary after it down the left side, sends a crossing pass, but it's intercepted. DeRico let it roll on through as a high drive over everything by Jim Bokern. Bokern sent it on over, and so it'll be a goal kick for the Sounders. Stuart Anderson's Black Angus restaurant serves famous quality steak and prime rib dinners for only $4.95, so after the game, get the spirit. Stuart Anderson's Black Angus restaurants at convenient locations and the best value going. All right, ball kicked to midfield, headed on now, touched along by Bennett, driven on back by Carenza. Carenza sends the ball down. McLaughlin got his head into that one. Now DeRico heads the ball back at midfield. They battle for the ball out there. It goes to the right wing for the St. Louis Stars over the 35-yard line, trying to get the ball down the right side to Clarke. He got upset, and a foul called on, I believe, on Jimmy Gabriel, and the foul will go against the Seattle Sounders. A free kick coming from just outside the right corner of the penalty area for the St. Louis Stars. All right, ready as the run start now. Here's the ball tapped down the right side to Hausmann. Sends the ball high and deep. That will go over the top and goes out. Hausmann kicked it out of there. Ready for a snack? Have something that's good for you. Dairy Gold cheddar cheese, loaded with protein and famous for its good taste from Dairy Gold, your superstar dairy. All right, here's the ball up the field now. Headed up into the air by defender Verdi. Goes to midfield. Taken by DeRico off the shins of Jenkins. Now picked up by Denny Vaninger. Vaninger off to the right wing. Goes the pass to Bokern. Bokern tries to feed it through. We've got a whistle. We've got a foul called on John McLaughlin as a St. Louis player, Pat McBride, was upset. The captain of the St. Louis team. And they will spot the ball down just inside the 35-yard line of the Seattle Sounders. Little argument going on now as McLaughlin goes over to dispute that with the referee. Johnson from Windsor, Ontario. Ball is spotted. Be an indirect kick. Referee standing at the ball right now, getting everybody aligned the way he wants them. St. Louis Stars often will play that ball rather craftily as they'll give you the impression that nothing is about to happen. Looks like perhaps McLaughlin got his name booked. McLaughlin got his name book. Here's the kick by Hausmann into the goal mouth, and Chersky goes high to gather that one in. Tony Chersky with the ball, puts it on the ground, taps it ahead, and waiting for it is Jimmy Gabriel. Gabriel brings it out of the 18-yard box. Gabriel now to Dave Gillett. Gillett works the ball forward, sets it up, chops a little short pass back into the middle. That one's intercepted back into the penalty area. Out comes Chersky to cut that one in front of Denny Vaninger, and Vaninger gives him a bump. But Chersky had been forewarned about that, so he knew what was coming. And so we're all set to go. All right, here's the ball upfield now, taken in midfield by the Sounders. John McLaughlin sends the ball forward again. Chris Bennett drives it across to the left side over everybody. Hausmann, the nearest man for St. Louis, runs it down, and he'll get to throw it in. Hausmann will throw in, as we've now played about 7.5 minutes here in the first half with no score. Throw over Butler, comes back into Gary Rensing, the center back. Rensing up to midfield, sends the low ball downfield off the chest of his teammate Vaninger. That one's taken away now by Bennett. Bennett couldn't control, however, and here comes Joey Clarke. Clarke drives it into the Seattle end, and out comes Chersky to gather it up against his chest, roll the ball forward, and the Sounders once again have possession. Chersky out to Jimmy Gabriel. Gabriel turns to bring the ball forward. Side foot pass ahead to Dave Gillett. Gillett taps it up to midfield to Tommy Jenkins. Jenkins coming back to control. Now ahead for DeRico. DeRico through the center circle, moving fast. DeRico changes the pace. Down the left side it goes to Hurst. Hurst over the 35 on the left side. Hurst to the left wing. It goes to Jenkins following the play and overlapping down the left side. Tommy sets it up. Wants the crossing pass. Jenkins sends it into the penalty area. Hurst taps it on with a heel in front. Bennett drives one just wide of the right post. Chris Bennett trying the left foot shot back, and he put it wide of the post, just barely wide, and it'll be a goal kick for the St. Louis Stars as the Sounders got the first close effort off the left foot of Chris Bennett, the new youngster out of Canada. Young man is quick. He plays a lot of the field. As John Best says, his work rate is extremely high, and he will cause opponents a lot of problems this year as he works into the lineup. Jokerst will try the goal kick now out of his own 6-yard box. Jokerst forward, here's the kick, comes up to midfield, curving, headed back by Adrian Webster, goes to Jeffrey Hurst. Hurst with the ball on the ground to Pepe Fernandez. Pepe just outside the 35 on the right side. Man down the right side, overlapping is Webster. Pepe dribbles by a defender and beat him. Keeps the ball now. Pepe Fernandez turns a pass back out to Jenkins. Jenkins just inside the 35, dribbling well, working forward, one-on-one, drives it through, looking for Pepe, goes too far, and the ball goes out, and it will now be a goal kick for the St. Louis Stars, and at this point we've got a break in play, and we take timeout in this Seattle Sounders soccer broadcast. You know, a commercial I really like telling you about, Stuart Anderson's Black Angus Restaurants. I don't know of any other place you could go and enjoy a delicious steak dinner served in relaxing surroundings by warm, personable people and pay only $4.95. If you're extra hungry, try the popular rancher-size cuts of their famous steaks, or my favorite, steak and lobster, for only $6.95. After the game, take time to stop by one of Stuart Anderson's Black Angus restaurants and treat yourself to an unforgettable fine dinner that's easy on the old pocketbook. Stuart Anderson's Black Angus Restaurants. Back to play we go with the goal kick now by Dave Jokerst. Sends the ball across midfield. Up to head it goes Dave Gillett. Had it knocked on by. We had an offside flag up, or a foul flag up, but Jimmy Gabriel got the ball off to Adrian Webster, so play goes right on in the advantage rule to Fernandez. Ran over the ball, let it go on by to control. Took it through the legs of a defender. Now turns back in toward the middle of the field. Pepe playing well. Tried to drive it in, looking for Bennett breaking to the middle, and that one was deflected and intercepted, and now out of there comes Al Trost. Trost up the field to Joey Clarke. Taken away, but there's a whistle on that one as Adrian Webster had the ball, but it may have been over the touchline, and Seattle will have a throw-in. Tom Jenkins from Swindon Town will throw it in. Got it right back from Pepe Fernandez. Takes it in toward the middle of the field. Jenkins, left foot pass down deep, looking for Butler. Went on through, but Jokerst, the goalkeeper, came out and cut that one off. Jokerst wraps his arms around it now, and he will distribute the ball upfield. No score in the game. We're just past the 10-minute mark of the match here in St. Louis. 0-0. Seattle Sounders, St. Louis Stars. Ball headed on by Joey Clarke. Dave Gillett runs the ball down in his own defensive zone for the Sounders. Now stops it, turns, taps it back to Tony Chersky. Goalkeeper distributes with an underhand roll out to Jimmy Gabriel with Vaninger pressuring. It goes back again to Chersky. That's Vaninger in the middle of the whole thing, the big striker for the St. Louis Stars. Missed most of last year with a broken leg. Here's the ball to midfield. Ball controlled now by the St. Louis Stars. Pat McBride, their veteran captain, down the left side to Joey Clarke. Clarke in the midfield area, left side, works his way toward the middle, sends the ball on deep. Wanted Vaninger there, but it's headed out by Jimmy Gabriel. Then kicked back by McLaughlin to his own goalkeeper, who had to go back to the byline to get it, and it's going to be a corner kick. It was over the goal line before Chersky could get there, and it will be a corner kick. Corner kick for the St. Louis Stars. They'll take it down in the right corner. And taking the kick down there will be Jim Bokern, the right wing. 75-yard wide field, so a lot of space in which to maneuver on the corner kick. Everybody's out near the front of the 18-yard box except the goalkeeper and a couple of defenders for Seattle. Ball being spotted. All right, ball spotted. Bokern backs off the field now to get ready. He's out among the Army band from Fort Leonard Wood. Here's the run forward, left-footed kick. In swinger to the front of the 6-yard box, over everybody's head, taken by Gabriel. Jimmy puts the ball on the ground, drives it out on the right side. Fernandez after the ball, can't get there. It goes off the field, and the throw-in will be to St. Louis. Be put in quickly by Verdi. Verdi to Al Trost. Trost over the 35-yard line, turns forward, sends the ball into the penalty area, and Gillett slams it out of there. That one's cut off by McBride. Back to Trost, 18-yard line. Trost is run off. As back to get him came Chris Bennett. Bennett takes the ball away, dribbling out of his own defensive end of the field, was tackled from behind. The ball goes out, and it'll be Seattle's ball to throw in. Fans didn't like that, but Bennett was tackled from behind by Clarke, and it was Clarke who actually knocked the ball off the field as he put Bennett down. Throw-in will be by Adrian Webster. No score in the match, first half. Here's the throw-in coming now to Hurst, who's back into the middle of the play. Tried to clear it out. McBride intercepted. McBride drives it down the left side to Clarke over the 35. Sets the ball up to cross it. High target ball in front. Everybody there. Chersky fists it away onto the ground to McLaughlin. Little McLaughlin goes to the left side now. Tried to clear it out. It's cut off and brought back in by Bob O'Leary. Now taken by Jimmy Gabriel. Gabriel drives it high in the air out on the left side. Looking for Dave DeRico, but that one goes over the touchline and out for a throw-in for the St. Louis Stars. Still no score in the game. Pat McBride, the St. Louis captain, will throw in. Stars are 0-1 in league play, picked up 1 point in the standings. Throw it came to midfield, and Jeffrey Hurst got it for the Sounders. Pass to the right side on the wide field, but there's nobody there as Adrian Webster pursues and couldn't quite get to it. So the ball goes out over the touchline, but I think we had a foul called on the play anyhow, and they're going to bring it way back into the middle. We have now reached 31:48 to go here in the first half of this match. Foul is against McBride, and so the free kick will be by Jimmy Gabriel, the Seattle Sounders captain. Here's the kick downfield over the 35, headed right back out, taken by Dave DeRico. DeRico taps it down the left side. Butler and Hurst both there. Dave Butler has the ball. Muskie along the left touch line, working his way, being channeled by Hausmann, the defender, doing a good dribbling job. Takes it on by Hausmann. They battle all the way to the flag, all the way to the goal line. Ball goes to the line, stays in, and double teamed. It was Butler losing the ball. Hausmann brings it out. St. Louis ball to midfield off Trost now rolls loose, race for the ball, and it is finally controlled by St. Louis once again. Bokern had it taken away by DeRico, but a foul on DeRico, and so the ball will be a free kick for the St. Louis Stars. St. Louis ball, free kick. Larry Hausmann, the right back, slightly balding. No, it's Carenza coming forward, the big man. He is 6'4", 207 pounds, one of the biggest players in the North American Soccer League. Carenza, oh, what a leg. Drives the ball all the way to the goal mouth. Chersky up to gather that one, and Chersky has the ball inside the 6-yard box, but Vaninger undercut him and fouled him, and so Tony Chersky will have a free kick coming from about 10 yards in front of his own goal. Tony spots the ball, that red, white, and blue North American Soccer League ball with the stars on it. Here's the run forward. Tony, right foot, drives it across midfield. Bennett waiting. Hurst heads it on. Hurst to Fernandez near the right wing. Starts to go back inside. Decides to keep the ball out there and set it up. Drives the ball on deep. Here's a run by Bennett in front, headed out by Carenza. Then bicycle kicked out of there, but DeRico heads it right back in. Goes to Butler out in front of the 18-yard box. Dave trying to dribble against 2 men. Went down, and we've got a foul called on the play, and this one's going to be direct. A direct free kick coming for the Seattle Sounders as Butler went down, double teamed, and the wall is starting to form now at the 18-yard line as Butler is still down on the ground. The kick will come from about 25, 26 yards, almost straight out in front. The 4-man wall is formed. Let's see who takes it for the Sounders. Fernandez is at the ball. It's being rolled just a little bit now. Ball is about 26 yards out in front and just a bit to the left of center as the wall forms for the blue-shirted St. Louis Stars, and Pepe Fernandez backs away as Butler apparently is putting his shoe back on. That is what the delay is right now. David getting ready. This will be a direct free kick. They can score off the kick. Jenkins forward to the ball, and he sends it goalward. It is fisted over the bar. It'll be a corner kick. Tommy Jenkins put it right on goal, and Jokerst went up and flicked it over the top. And the Sounders have their first corner kick of the game as David Butler will take it to the attacking left corner and put it in that 1-yard quadrant. Dave Butler will have the ball, And the Sounders gather in the attacking penalty area now. Here's a run in front by DeRico. Here's the ball driven goalward, kicked out of there by Hausmann, the defender. It'll go off the field, and the Sounders will throw it in. Hausmann, near post, just kicked it out of there, and Butler will throw it in again along that same side. Here's the throw coming in deep to DeRico near the byline. DeRico being battled by Hausmann, got the ball around him, sends it out in front, high target ball. Back after it goes Hurst, taps it back out in the middle now. There's a race for the ball. Gillett got it through a St. Louis player on the ground, over to Hurst on the right wing. Hurst brings it out to the 35. Webster overlaps down the right side. Ball in the middle to Pepe Fernandez. 1-2s it right back to Hurst, taps it down the right side to Webster. Oh, nice pass. Webster crosses it in front, and the goalkeeper cut it off, and Bennett slammed into him, and the foul will be on Bennett, and we'll have a free kick. The Seattle Sounders versus the St. Louis Stars, brought to you by Port Townsend Auto Center and the rest of the Puget Sound Dodge boys. See the new Dodge Aspen today. All right, ball comes to midfield. Seattle Sounders had it momentarily. Jenkins battles Al Trost. Trost of St. Louis comes up with a ball. Trost, the long-legged 6'2" forward or midfielder, working in midfield tonight, works to the left side. Being marked by Jenkins. Pass ahead now. Jimmy Gabriel out to knock that away to midfield. Carenza forward to play it. Carenza sends the ball into the penalty area. McLaughlin heads it out of there. It's cut off by St. Louis. Bob O'Leary goes into the penalty area. O'Leary after the ball to the right side. McLaughlin marking him and gets it out to DeRico. Dave DeRico has the ball for the Sounders. Got double team taken away now by Clarke, who drives it across everything over the top and goes off the playing field, and the Sounders once again will have a goal kick. We have no score in the match here in St. Louis at Washington University at St. Louis. The Seattle Sounders and St. Louis Stars 0-0. The Sounders play their first regular league game as Adrian Webster walks up towards the 35-yard line. The Sounders play their first home league game next Sunday afternoon, a week from tomorrow, 2 o'clock in the Kingdome against the Portland Timbers, their arch rivals. Tickets are going fast. A crowd of somewhere around 40 to 45,000 is possible for that game. Here's the ball to midfield. Hurst tried to touch it on with the head, but it's taken away by McBride of St. Louis. McBride down the left side goes his pass. Ball to Jim Bokern is crossed over to the left wing. Tried to run the ball on through. Webster, check it. Jenkins will win the race for that one. Turns it back to Chersky in the goal, and Tony rolls the ball forward through the 18-yard box. 0-0 the score. Seattle Sounders, St. Louis Stars. Chersky works to the 18-yard line and gets everybody moving downfield now as he starts the play. Sends the long ball down into the middle. Hits right at midfield. Up to head the ball on went Jeffrey Hurst. He can go in the air. Bennett then heads it toward Fernandez, but Verdi got his foot into that one, drives it back for St. Louis. Headed up in the air. We've got a flag up on the play, but play goes on as the Sounders get the ball. Jimmy Gabriel brings it out of the defensive zone. Jimmy sets it up, drives it across to the right side to Fernandez at midfield on the right wing. Pepe Fernandez against Verdi. Fernandez starts forward, spins a pass to Jeffrey Hurst. Hurst with a ball on the ground. Fernandez came and Hurst left it off. Pepe drives it into the middle to Bennett. Bennett was run off from behind that time by defender. Battles for the ball with Verdi. Got a foul on Chris Bennett, and the free kick out of there will be by the St. Louis Stars. Roger Verdi, who wears number 6, born in Kenya, played professionally in England. Big man Carenza, however, sends the ball downfield. John Carenza headed out by Dave Gillett over the 35. Trost missed it. Bennett got it. Chris Bennett for the Seattle Sounders, the redhead, leaves a pass off for Jenkins on the right side. Jenkins left foot pass into the center circle to Pepe Fernandez. Pepe plays the ball well. Down the right side for DeRico, flying over the 35-yard line. DeRico goes against Carenza. One-on-one. Took the ball by him down the right side of the penalty area. Carenza slides into him. We have a whistle and the ball goes out. It's a corner kick for the Sounders. Corner kick from down in the right corner. Sounders ball. No score, and Dave DeRico will kick the ball in play. The fans are still coming in here tonight. No, DeRico will not. Pepe Fernandez is going down to kick the ball. Ball is spotted in the quadrant, and Pepe Fernandez is there to take the kick. Pepe ready. Goal number 9, back playing great soccer. Here's the ball. High, goes far, post across in front, cut off by the goalkeeper, Jokerst, who goes down on it. Jokerst appears to be a bit weak on cutting off the cross. He's made it so far, but he has not handled the ball very securely on the crosses, and the Sounders might make good use of that before the game is over tonight. Here's the ball up the right side with Hausmann overlapping out of the back four. Pass intercepted by McLaughlin, put over the low fence and out of play. So the Seattle Sounders stop the rush defensively, but they give the ball back to the St. Louis Stars for the throw-in. Ball will be thrown in along the right side. Fernandez watching from midfield as the ball comes into Hausmann over the 35. The boomer drives one. That goes over everything and out of play, and it'll be a goal kick for the Seattle Sounders. And with a goal kick for the Seattle Sounders and no score in the game, we once again take timeout on this Seattle Sounders soccer broadcast. Unbelievable. Dodge did it, the unbelievable new small Aspen for 1976. Dodge did it by engineering a small car, incorporating the features you said were important in big cars. Dodge Aspen gives you the economy, the maneuverability, the roomy comfort, and big car ride. Dodge did it at a price that is unbelievable. Dodge did it with the all-new Dodge Aspen. Drive the Aspen, now available at your Dodge dealer. All right, the ball is kicked across midfield, back into the attacking zone. Here's Hurst after the ball, but the goalkeeper gets it first, and Jokerst throws out to the left side to Verdi. Verdi has control of the ball now for the St. Louis Stars, drives it across midfield. Webster in a good collision puts the St. Louis man Joey Clarke down. Foul called on Adrian Webster, however, as Clarke, number 20, bounces right back up, and the ball will be put in play on the left wing side for the attacking St. Louis Stars in a rough patch on the field. And Verdi will kick the ball. Roger Verdi spotting the ball, kind of teeing it up on some of the higher blades of grass now before he gets ready. Pepe Fernandez facing him. Verdi kind of runs around the ball to get an angle. Drives it deep into the penalty area for Vaninger. Fisted out by Chersky. Picked up way out in front by McBride. McBride angling to the left, but taken away by Jenkins. Tommy starts right on back in the middle now for the Seattle Sounders, angling across the field to his left. Turns back to his right to beat a man. It is Tommy Jenkins with the ball, kind of surrounded by blue shirts right now, getting in some trouble back into the penalty area, and then got tripped. And a foul is called against the St. Louis Stars, so the Sounders have the free kick coming out. And they'll put the ball in play from just the front part of their own penalty area. Jimmy Gabriel back explaining to Chersky something about position on that particular type of play, as Tony had come far out of the goal to fist the ball from almost 18 yards in front. Now the ball goes back to Chersky in the penalty area. Here's the long, high kick up across the center of the field on the volley. It is headed, missed by Bennett. Ball goes over the 35. Hurst got it on the head, the chest. Back heels it over now in the direction of the penalty area, headed out by Carenza. Carenza to McBride for St. Louis. Up on the right wing side it goes. And here they come now with Bokern back into the middle of Pat McBride, racing across midfield. McLaughlin with him got sandwiched and knocked down by two men. We've got a foul called on the play. Foul is called, I think, on McBride of St. Louis. Sounders quickly get the ball and play up to Pepe Fernandez. Pepe out of the front half of the center circle to the 35-yard line. Man on his right is Jeffrey Hurst at the 18. Hurst works to the front of the penalty area, tried to drive one. It was deflected away by a defender by Rensing and comes out to the 35. Back to meet it goes Joey Clarke for St. Louis. No score in the game, nothing first half. Clarke and Webster racing up the sidelines on the left wing side. Ball goes over the touch line and out. And it is ruled off Adrian Webster. Clarke will throw it in for St. Louis quickly at the 35. Foul throw. It was a foul throw, and the Sounders get the ball. Foul throw by Clarke, has apparently stepped onto the field. No, it is not. They just said the wrong spot. I thought they'd call a foul throw, but St. Louis will still have the ball. Al Trost will throw it in. Another St. Louis U graduate. Holds the ball up overhead, steps to the touch line, throws the ball deep into the penalty area, headed out of there by Gillett, comes to the chest of Chris Bennett. The redhead sends it left-footed back into the middle of the field now to David Butler. Dave takes the ball, back heels it back to Tommy Jenkins at his own 35. Jenkins in the middle to DeRico. DeRico goes against one man one-on-one, then passes back to McLaughlin up the left side to Jenkins. Jenkins along the left touch line over midfield. Jenkins looks to the middle, passes ahead to Butler. Butler has the ball, works across the field to Pepe Fernandez on the right, taps it up in the air. He's grabbed by the jersey by Joey Clarke, who hung on and was caught by the telltale tail of the jersey. And Clarke has now been called to the referee. No card. He's just going to get a verbal warning to don't do that again. The referee, Peter Johnson from Windsor, Ontario. Gabriel will kick the ball from just at midfield at the right of the center circle. Just a stride behind midfield. Sounders in their white jerseys moving left to right. Here's the run forward. Gabriel sends the ball high, deep target ball left of the penalty area, headed by the big defender Carenza. It goes off the field. What's the call? I think they've ruled a Sounder touched it, however, and so it'll be a goal kick out of there for the St. Louis Stars. You can work up a pretty good thirst just rooting those Sounders on. When you do, reach for an ice-cold Oli and get a winning taste. Great beer after great beer. Some things never change. Olympia never will. From the goal kick, ball comes out to Roger Verdi. Verdi, the left back, turns it back into Jokerst in the penalty area once again. And forward now come the St. Louis Stars in a scoreless first half. We have 20 minutes and 17 seconds remaining to play in the first half. Ball headed out of there by McLaughlin right off the bald spot. Headed right back by Hausmann. McLaughlin got it. McLaughlin now into Dave DeRico. Side foot pass ahead to Pepe. Spins the ball on through. A race for the ball. It goes back into the goalkeeper. Jokerst got it as Chris Bennett was in pursuit for the Sounders. And the throw comes out to the left side. Up the left side now comes Al Trost for St. Louis. Midfield. Starts to work his way to the middle. Pass goes in, but bounced off a St. Louis player, taken by Jenkins. Here comes Tommy Jenkins back now for the Seattle Sounders. Left of the center circle. Ahead it goes to Hurst. Jeffrey Hurst at the 35-yard line. Sets the ball up. Starts to work into the attacking zone. Down the left side to Jenkins overlap. Goes down near the left corner. Sends the ball back across in front. But we have a whistle on the play, and we have a foul called. And time for station identification. This soccer simulcast coming to you from St. Louis on KVI 570 Seattle and on KSTW Channel 11 Tacoma, Seattle. Direct free kick from 21 yards out in front, make it 22 yards out in front. Ball spotted just inside that restraining semicircle. The wall is formed. Direct free kick. They can score off it. Pepe Fernandez to the ball, puts it right on the arc. That's the penalty restraining arc, in case you wondered. It's 10 yards away from the penalty spot. Sent across and scored! The Sounders got it. Jeffrey Hurst, as it was just in the roof of the net. Jeffrey Hurst scored on a direct free kick with 18:55 to go in the first half. What a pretty shot by Jeffrey Hurst. I don't think the St. Louis Stars knew what was happening, and perhaps they've disallowed the goal. Hurst has gone to protest it now. Let's see what's happened. The referee and Jeffrey Hurst are arguing vehemently. They've disallowed the goal. They said no goal on the play. I think they've called an obstruction against the Sounders, but we'll try to find out what the call was. The referee had apparently allowed it, then changed his mind after consulting with the linesman. Down the right side goes McBride with a pass off to the right wing to Bokern. St. Louis Stars back on the attack. Long drive, cut off by Chersky coming off his line. Throws the ball up the middle to Jenkins coming over the 35. No score, it's still 0-0. Here's Jenkins over the midfield line. Works his way to the right of the circle. Sets the ball up, chops it across now to Bennett. Chris over the 35-yard line. Sets it up, drives one left-footed. Bounce, and it's off the chest of Jokerst, who hangs on as Jeffrey Hurst challenged him. Hurst, who apparently had the Sounders' first league goal of the season in the roof of the net on the free kick. And now we have a whistle on the play, and let's see what's going on as the referee's gone over to talk to Dave Butler, who was tangled up with Larry Hausmann of St. Louis. And it is Butler who's being talked to after Hausmann and Butler got tangled up and did some bumping. And it may have been that Butler was saying something to the linesman on the far side, because I believe it was the linesman who made the call that disallowed the Seattle Sounders goal. The linesman at the far side of the field, because the referee went over to talk to him before he disallowed the goal. Foul was called against the Sounders, and the free kick is to the St. Louis Stars indirect, out of their own end of the field. Forward Carenza, the 6'4 defender, booms the ball down the field, all the way to the Seattle end. McLaughlin cut it off down there. We've got a foul called on the play against St. Louis, against Jim Bokern, and the Sounders will quickly get the ball in play, but the referee says that's too quick, take it back, it wasn't even spotted. Take it back, spotted. It must be stationary on the field. It's got to stop rolling before you can put it in play. Now it's legal to Dave Gillett. Gillett forward to the 35. Sends the long rising pass down to the opposite 35. Hurst heads it on for Fernandez on the left side. He got a push from Carenza. Flag went up on the play. Foul against Carenza of St. Louis. And so the foul is against St. Louis, and the Sounders have an indirect free kick. Out on the left side, ball being spotted by Tommy Jenkins. This one about 35 yards out on the left side. Here's the ball sent across in front. Goalkeeper out. Jokerst gathers it, visor high on his cap. Throws out to the left side, distributing to Joey Clarke. Clarke, the winger, who came all the way back inside his own defensive zone, going now against Adrian Webster, sends a long pass up the left side for Trost. Too far. It goes out, and the throw-in will be for Seattle. Chris Bennett, the nearest man, has the ball. We'll give it to Adrian Webster to throw in. Adrian, the defender, throws the ball high, not much spin on it to Butler, who's come across from left wing now. Butler to Bennett. Got a foul on that one. The foul against the St. Louis Stars as Clarke slammed into David Butler. And so the foul against St. Louis will give the Seattle Sounders a free kick. Sounders ball. Webster will take the kick. 16 minutes to go in the first half. No score. Now it'll be Gabriel will take it. Hit the referee in the back of the leg, and it came off to Joey Clarke. So the referee acting as a stationary defender for the St. Louis Stars, not intentionally, of course. Ball goes to the right side. Bokern, long ball through. DeRico in a race for the ball with a St. Louis player, and DeRico got there first. Can he keep it on the field? He does. The wide field helped that time into Chersky in the penalty area, and Tony gathers the ball up. O'Leary, the midfielder, the center midfielder for St. Louis, really went deep on the run that time. Here's the ball in the middle to Jimmy Gabriel now. Sounders trying to bring it out of their own end. He's being pursued by Vaninger, the striker. Back to DeRico, ahead to Gabriel. Gabriel back to Dave Gillett. Gillett sets it up. The tall young Scot turns it back again to Dave DeRico. Back heels it behind his own leg. Left side to McLaughlin. McLaughlin sends the ball up the left wing to Fernandez, who started out on the right side, has crossed over. He and Butler have switched now. Back it goes to the Seattle end of the field to DeRico. DeRico looks for a mate in an open space. Ball back to Dave Gillett in front of the penalty area. Gillett waiting now to get service out of that back line. Looks upfield, sets it up. Here's the long right foot kick by Dave Gillett, looking for Hurst. Touches it on with the head, but nobody in the open spot, and Hausmann got it for St. Louis. Larry Hausmann sets the ball up. Hausmann sends the ball down the right side. Ball goes over the 35. Jim Gabriel won that ball, got it to DeRico. DeRico, however, lost it as he tried to turn into the middle of the field. Slides into it now, and a foul called on Dave DeRico as Al Trost went down. And we'll have a direct free kick coming for the St. Louis Stars. Still no score in the game, although the Sounders had the ball in the net once. It was disallowed. This one will come from 32 yards out on the right side, just a bit to the right of center, as the Stars get ready. They start the runs in front. McBride chops it in front. Chersky comes out, cuts it off high. He's good on those. And Tony Chersky, about 10 yards out in front of the goal, got that one. And low volleys it up to midfield to Jeffrey Hurst. Off his chest again. Taken away now by Gary Rensing. St. Louis Stars back. Rensing out of the back four over the 35-yard line down the left side to Clarke. Clarke being channeled off by Gillett. Flips the ball by him, but after him came Webster and knocked it off the end of the field. Corner kick. Have a corner kick coming now for the St. Louis Stars. Ball will go to the left corner on the attacking end of the field. And it'll be Jim Bokern, the wing, coming to the left side to take the kick. Jim, who has been playing the right wing throughout the game to this point, now comes over to the left side to take the corner. Everybody for St. Louis well out as they will start their runs from there. Now they start to edge forward. Defenders start to cut them off. Chersky way back far post. Here's the kick. Sends it high out in front. Fisted out by Chersky. Vaninger went down. We've got a foul, and it may be a penalty kick. Let's see. We have a foul called in the penalty area. And let's see what they have called. If it is a foul, apparently it is going to be an indirect kick. If it's against Seattle, it's going to be indirect. As the referee right now is standing indicating somebody should go and get the ball. No, it's going to be a penalty kick. And he's clearing out the penalty area, so he did call a penalty kick on it, I do believe. Let's wait and see. The ball is being brought out in front. And as Vaninger was put down, a penalty kick was called, and the St. Louis Stars will have a penalty kick coming. Tony Chersky, the goalkeeper, against whomever the Stars select to kick the ball from the 12-yard spot out in front. Just the kicker and the keeper, and the goalkeeper cannot move his feet until the ball has been kicked. He gets to take his spot, and that's it. The ball being spotted there 12 yards out in front. This is a penalty kick. In other words, it would have been a direct free kick had it been outside the penalty area, the 18-yard box. But since the foul was called inside the 18-yard box, it becomes a penalty kick. St. Louis player having trouble spotting the ball there, and the referee has come over to see if he can't help out. So Al Trost, who has a good leg, tall young man, native St. Louis player, 6'2", will take the kick. Ball is spotted. Chersky crouches in the goal. Trost is ready. Big number 12 forward. Here's the kick. He scored. Trost on a penalty kick with 11:47 to go in the first half, and St. Louis leads it by a score of 1-0. Elliott Dog Ration is a quality and economical dry dog food. Elliott Dog Ration is made in the Northwest by the Elliott family and is available in your favorite supermarket. Elliott Dog Ration. Well, off the corner kick from the left corner by Bokern, Vaninger was knocked over in the penalty area. It was ruled a foul and a penalty kick, and Al Trost made the goal with 11:47 to go in the first half. 1-0 St. Louis. Sounders have the ball. Fernandez. Pepe with the ball to the right side. Taps it back to Adrian Webster. Webster out in the midfield area, right wing, being challenged. Got the ball to Jenkins, down the right side to Pepe. Tried to backheel it back, but we have a whistle in the play and a foul called that time against St. Louis, against Joey Clarke. Yeah, we have a little pushing, and now a yellow card comes out. A yellow card is out. The referee has come over to give a yellow card warning to one of the St. Louis players. I think it's Verdi. A name is being booked as the ball has been spotted, and Roger Verdi blew his cool a bit that time after the foul was called and ended up with a yellow card warning. Pepe forward. Here's the kick. Drives it deep in front. Ball is headed up high in the air. Anybody's ball. It's kicked right back in by Webster to the 18-yard line. Taken there now. Webster took it away. Kicked away from him. Fernandez dives into the ball. Tried to get it to Hurst, but couldn't. And Trost kicks it to midfield. Trost, who scored the goal. Back goes Jimmy Gabriel to get the ball for Seattle. Up to Fernandez. Wedged the ball into the lumpy turf. Took it to the right side. Got grabbed and fouled again by Verdi. Another foul on Verdi, and Pepe is laughing at him now, and Verdi's getting mad. Pepe gives him a rub across the back of the neck just to say, I sort of love you, Roger. Pepe would say it in Spanish, however. Roger, I'm not sure could understand that. I don't know what he speaks. Ball is set up on the right wing side. Adrian Webster for the free kick for the Sounders. Here's the drive. Goes high and deep in front for Butler. It's headed out by a defender. Kicked away by Trost to midfield. Gabriel forward. He missed it. Ball took a big bounce over his head, but Dave Gillett goes back to play the ball for Seattle. St. Louis 1, Sounders 0 here in the opening game. Gillett's pass down the left side too far for DeRico and goes off the field. So once again, St. Louis will put the ball in play with a throw. In on the right side it comes, looking for Bokern. Kicked away by Seattle as the Sounders bring it forward. Jenkins trying to get it to Pepe Fernandez on the right wing. It's intercepted by Verdi. Here comes Verdi back up the field now. Pepe outran him and caught up. Verdi sends a pass into the middle. Jenkins forward, got the ball for Seattle. Good play by Jenkins, strong on the ball. Long-legged Tommy Jenkins across to the left side. Coming forward, John McLaughlin, the little 5'5" Scot. Works the ball down the left side. Drives a long pass, looking for Jeffrey Hurst. Can Hurst get there? He did. Along the left touch line, took it by one man. It's kicked off the field by a St. Louis player, and so the Sounders will have a throw in as soon as the ball is returned. Give that terrific cook you married a new kitchen to work in with a home improvement loan from Rainier Bank. You'll eat like you never have before. Rainier Bank. They are retrieving the ball from beyond the fence now to bring back for the throw-in. Clock, of course, continues to run. 45-minute halves in soccer, and it takes a very unusual delay of some length to get the clock stopped. Otherwise, they just play non-stop. Here's the throw coming in to Hurst out in the left corner, being tackled from behind by Gary Rensing. Hurst cleverly controls that ball, brings it back out in front, pass back to McLaughlin, back down the left side it goes to Jenkins. Jenkins deep in the corner near the flag, brings it around one, crosses it out in front. Hurst got a foot to it, Jokerst kicked it away. Fernandez after the ball, comes out in front for DeRico, but cleared by the defense. McLaughlin got it, 35-yard line, pops it up in the air, headed on by Adrian Webster. Bennett goes after the ball but couldn't get there in time, beaten to it by Bob O'Leary. O'Leary back to Jokerst, and the St. Louis Stars still lead 1-0 as we have 7:48 to play in the first half. Game here in St. Louis. Long throw to midfield. Good arm by Jokerst, maybe an outfielder on the baseball team. Drive downfield by Verdi. Jimmy Gabriel side foots it out, but Trost got it over the 35. Trost with the ball. DeRico ran him off and cleared out of there by Adrian Webster. O'Leary now down the left side to Pat McBride. Target ball across. Chersky out. Leaps high and grabs the ball 10 yards in front of the goal. Oh, did he go past Vaninger that time. Fine play by Tony Chersky. A courageous play and a foul called on Vaninger for throwing a hip into him, and a free kick for Tony Chersky. Long ball, low to midfield, off the chest of Hausmann. Pepe Fernandez got a piece of it but went down, goes to Hurst. Jeffrey Hurst coming back towards his own end, gives the ball to DeRico. DeRico bumped, almost grabbed. Ball goes forward now for St. Louis, but taken away by Webster. Adrian tried to turn it into the middle, intercepted by Pat McBride. McBride down the left side. Here's a run by Joey Clarke, beaten for the ball by Jimmy Gabriel. Back heels it to Dave DeRico on a good pass. DeRico tries to clear, it'll be intercepted. St. Louis has the ball. Down the right side they come. Ball in front, intercepted by Jenkins. Loose in the penalty area, and Tommy clears it. Jenkins starts out on the left side for the Sounders. Pass ahead to Fernandez up the left wing. Got bumped off the ball by a physical St. Louis team by Hausmann. He gives the ball to the 35 to McBride. McBride chops a high pass in front. Out comes Chersky. He's got it again. 12 yards out this time, parallel with the penalty spot. Tony breathing a little hard as he has had a busy, hard-working night for the Seattle Sounders in that goal. Throws out to McLaughlin, taps it into the midfield area. It goes now to Bennett. Red-headed Chris working his way to the left side. Bennett with the ball, almost run off, keeps control. Good soccer player, sends it downfield, looking for Jeffrey Hurst. Too far. Verdi heads it out for St. Louis to midfield. Trost touches it on, and Bennett got it back. Back to the right side again. It comes to David Butler. Butler off the thigh, but Verdi got it. Verdi went down as Butler ran on through him. Quickly put in play as the foul was called on Butler. St. Louis Stars have the ball. Here's McBride over the 35. Down the left side to Joey Clarke, going to the corner flag on the left side. Clarke being channeled by Webster. Crosses it high out in front. It goes off ahead. It's on the 18-yard line. A side volley, left-footed over everything off the foot of Jim Bokern. Bokern drove it over the top. 5.5 minutes to go now in the first half. 1-0 St. Louis leads. They got it on a penalty kick by Al Trost. Sounders appeared to have a goal earlier on a direct free kick by Jeffrey Hurst, but it was disallowed. All right, forward now for the kick. is Chersky. Sends it across midfield on the goal kick, headed by Verdi. Goes up high in the air. Clarke heads it on now. Goes down the left side, but then out off Vaninger. No, off a sounder defender, and it'll be thrown in by St. Louis. Into Al Trost. Trost along a rough spot on the field. Sends the deep ball in front. Chersky's out. He got it right in front of Vaninger, number 9 again. Throws out to the left side to DeRico. Quick distribution. Up the left side it goes to Butler, who's back on the left wing again. Pepe Fernandez goes over to support on the left side. The Sounders overloaded on that side now. Tried to get the ball to Pepe. It bounced off Hausmann. Hausmann has control of the ball. Butler ran him off. It goes to Trost. Now back to the defensive line. And here's a pretty good run by Butler as he tried to get back to the goalkeeper, but it's sent all the way on back by the midfielder Bob O'Leary. So it's thrown out to the right side by Jokerst. And once again, the St. Louis Stars have the ball. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Headed out by Chris Bennett for the Sounders. Diving header at his own defensive line. Ball controlled now by St. Louis. They bring it right back again into the attacking zone and then taken away by DeRico. DeRico to Bennett. Bennett leaves it off for Tommy Jenkins. Jenkins forward to midfield for Fernandez. Pepe beating 2 men as he comes across the field. Angles to his right. Pepe turns the ball upfield now. Comes to midfield, right of the circle. Being run off by Vaninger. Got a foul on Dennis Vaninger. The Blue Max put Pepe down that time. Machine gunned him from behind. So the free kick goes to the Sounders, right side of the center circle. Jimmy Gabriel drives the ball, spinning into the middle, but off the chest of the big man. That's John Carenza. Carenza drives it out on the right side, deflected to midfield. Dave Gillett got it there. Sounders beginning to press forward with the entire squad now. Upfield to Bennett. Bennett hooks it back over his head down the left side to Butler, breaking into the penalty area. Butler drives it on the ground just wide across the front as Hurst was coming far post on the run, and it'll be a goal kick. If you're looking for a way to cut down on calories, reach for Dairy Gold 1% milk. It's high on nutrition, low on butterfat from Dairy Gold, your superstar dairy. We have a goal kick coming for the St. Louis Stars. As soon as they retrieve the ball, Jokerst goes and gets it. 3:21 to go, and they have stopped the clock now while they retrieve the ball. Referee has his watch out, checking it to see when to start it again. All right, the ball is put in play and the clock starts. And Jokerst gets the ball quickly back. As we are late in the first half, St. Louis leading by a score of 1-0. Ball to midfield. Jenkins got a foot into it. Tommy brings it forward now for the Sounders. Taps off to Fernandez over the 35. Spins it into the middle. Headed out by a defender. Jenkins will get it again. Jenkins in the attacking zone. Back to the 35. Retracing his steps. Tried to get it back in midfield. Nobody there for the Sounders. Here come the Stars. 3-on-4. Down the middle, O'Leary. Gillett goes after him. O'Leary angles off to the left side. O'Leary chops it across in front looking for Vaninger. Not there. Driven back in front but cleared out by Jimmy Gabriel. Ball comes out to the 35-yard line. We've got a dangerous play foul called against Dave DeRico. He got the foot up too high into the ball, and an indirect free kick coming for the St. Louis Stars. Out about 25 yards on the right side, indirect. They cannot score directly off this one. They'll have to play it off somebody. Small wall, 3-man Sounder defensive wall is formed. Forward now comes the kicker. First man runs over the ball. Second touches it in front. It comes into the penalty area. McLaughlin cleared it out. McLaughlin to the 35 to Chris Bennett. Bennett with the ball for the Seattle Sounders. Bennett now works his way to the left side to Jenkins. Jenkins along the left touch line. Jenkins sets the ball up. Down the left side it goes, looking for Pepe Fernandez. Broken up by Verdi, who had gone across the field with Pepe. They're both on the attacking right side for St. Louis now. Long ball by Verdi over everybody on his team. McLaughlin goes back to play it for the Sounders. We have 2 minutes to go in the first half. St. Louis leads 1-0 here at Washington University at Francis Field. Dave Gillett with the ball. Tall Scott from Edinburgh. Headed goes to Hurst. Back heels the pass on the right side now for Adrian Webster overlapping. Webster at the 35-yard line. Sends it into the middle. Defender got a foot into the ball. Cleared away by St. Louis. Pat McBride ahead to Al Trost. Trost out of his own defensive zone. Butler overran Al Trost that time. Trost went down. Butler goes back to help him up, but the foul was called on David Butler. They argue a bit about it. Now Trost walking at Butler, and David giving away about 4 or 5 inches in height and about 45 pounds in weight, decides he'll just go the same direction, stay out of reach. Long kick by Carenza, deep into the Seattle zone. Gillett heads it out to the 35-yard line. Put on the ground there by O'Leary. Pass off to the right side. They set it up. That's McBride. Sends it deep in front. Ball goes over everybody to Bokern. Bokern on the left side of the goal. Lobs it up high in front, 20 yards out. Headed by DeRico. Over the 35-yard line. Taken by Pat McBride. McBride over the 35. DeRico got it away and loose, but Trost picked it up. Down the left side it goes. Headed goalward by Hausmann, overlapping from the wrong side that time. He's a defensive right back. He came in from the left side and headed the ball, but it was right on Chersky, and he gathered it in. Foul called now in St. Louis on the attacking left side for the Seattle Sounders. 35 seconds to go in the first half. 1-0 St. Louis leads. And the Sounders have the ball. McLaughlin for the free kick. McLaughlin sets it up, sends the ball downfield, goes to Pepe Fernandez. Pepe in the midfield area. Verdi has a hold of him, and the foul will be called on Roger Verdi. No, it will not. It's a push-off against Pepe Fernandez. Fernandez the foul. And so the kick is by the St. Louis Stars with 10 seconds to go in the half. At the front of the Seattle penalty area, Webster got it. Side foot pass up to Butler. He's knocked down by Hausmann, and a foul called on Butler for tripping as Hausmann had bumped him, but then Butler tripped him. And now the ball is being spotted in the midfield area. Referee looks at his watch. Here's the kick in front of the Seattle goal. Gabriel heads it out. Ball goes to David Butler. Butler breaking out around Hausmann. Got it past one. Trost took it away in the midfield area. Referee has the whistle up now as we're near the end of the half. Ball to the sidelines, and I believe that is the whistle for halftime. We have reached the intermission. And the score at the end of the first half, the St. Louis Stars 1, and the Seattle Sounders no score. Al Trost on a penalty kick, the lone goal. St. Louis leads it 1-0 at halftime. And as halftime arrives, we take time out on this Seattle Sounders soccer broadcast.
They are Jack Matthews and John Kohler. And to compete against them in the Golden Goal contest, again, the numbers on the cover of your kick magazines, those numbers are 78, 127.
And Jokerst in goal. I'm just checking the lineup now to see if there are any changes. I don't see any as we get ready to start, not for Seattle at any rate. And the St. Louis Stars only have about 2 substitutes available, and I don't expect that they're going to make any changes with a 1-0 lead out of the first half. That's the score. St. Louis 1, the Seattle Sounders 0, as we get ready to start the second half of this match here at Francis Field in St. Louis, Missouri. Sounders will have the ball. The delay right now is the target is still hung up on the goal down to our right, the north end goal. They've not been able to get it completely down. They've got somebody up on top trying to get it unhooked. In Seattle, we have more problem getting it up. St. Louis, they're having a problem getting it down. So I guess it's to each his own. It is down now and being carried off to the sidelines by the young grounds crew. Tony Chersky retreats into the goal at that end of the field, and Jeffrey Hurst puts the ball in play, and back it comes to Tommy Jenkins. Chris Bennett was also there at midfield with Hurst, and Hurst is limping. He's turned his right ankle, and he's walking very gingerly, and I'll tell you, he's in some agony in the center circle. Jeffrey Hurst is hurting as he walks. I don't know, he started to walk gingerly on his ankle. He's now stretching his body as if he may have pulled a muscle in his abdomen, and he's stretching out his body. I don't know what he's doing out there at midfield now, working on his back and trying to work himself loose. He's in some kind of pain. Look at him out there. Jeffrey Hurst is obviously not feeling fit at the moment as he tries to work out some kind of a kink. I thought at first that it was his right ankle, the way he started to walk around gingerly, but it now looks like he might have pulled something either in his abdomen or in his lower back. Here's the ball to midfield, headed back and taken by Bokern, taken away by John McLaughlin. Oh, and he stopped it right on the touchline and bounced it off Bokern's leg and out of bounds. Bokern and McLaughlin now a near handshake, and the balding little Scot with the face of a sea captain. Gosh, you look at him and you think this is a face that should be typecast for a sea captain in a movie. John McLaughlin, the little Scot, played at Everton in the English Football League First Division before coming to the Seattle Sounders. McLaughlin will throw in. Started to, now doesn't. Now does. Hurst comes, plays the ball off his chest to McLaughlin, drives it deep. Looking for Bennett. He tried to head it back to midfield, but Trost got it. Back to Verdi at the St. Louis defense and all the way back to Jokerst, the goalkeeper, who gathers it up, then puts it immediately on the ground. Still playing with a visor against the overhead lights here tonight. Here's the ball volleyed across midfield. Goes almost to the Seattle 35-yard line. Headed on by McBride. Comes into the attacking zone. Lobbed up in the air, but DeRico's coming back. Wedges the ball to the ground and taps it on back. Fairly solid pass back to Chersky, who throws out to the right side to Webster. Webster turns it right back to Chersky. Distribution comes to Jimmy Gabriel, and Gabriel's side foots it up to Dave Gillett. Gillett sets the ball on the grass. It is a natural grass field. Long, low pass to midfield. Bennett heads the ball back toward the Seattle end. Gillett meets it there, touches it onto the head to Webster. Webster back to Gillett at the 18-yard line in front of Tony Chersky. Dave Gillett sets the ball up now. Look to the right, turns back to the left. Works into the middle of the field. Ahead goes now to Gabriel. Gabriel over the 35-yard line out of the Seattle zone to the center circle. Gabriel dribbling the ball, sends the long ball down the left side. Hausmann got his head to it. McLaughlin played that extremely well, waiting for the ball. He backed off it. McLaughlin has the ball at the 35 to Jenkins on the left wing. Tommy Jenkins forward now, working down the left side, sends the target ball across in front for Bennett, and up goes the goalkeeper, Jokerst. Bennett overran him and put him down, and a foul will be called there on Bennett to quickly put it in play. Ball goes to Verdi. Verdi back into Jokerst once again, and the St. Louis Stars, with a 1-0 lead early in the second half, have control of the ball. Jokerst has possession, gets ready to volley it from 18 yards in front of his goal. Long one across midfield, sent on back by Vaninger. Vaninger back to midfield. It goes to Carenza. Carenza watched by Dave Butler. There's David and Goliath, I'll tell you. Ball bounced off Bennett that time, taken in midfield by Geoff Hurst. Hurst angles off to the right side, left the ball off for Pepe Fernandez. Fernandez down the right side, a good run by Hurst after the ball. Hurst going for the flag in the corner. Can he get there? It's knocked off the field, so is Jeffrey Hurst. Flag is up, and the ball apparently went off Hurst, so the ball belongs to the St. Louis Stars. Sounder Soccer is being brought to you by Stuart Anderson's Black Angus Restaurants, famous for quality steak dinners, prime rib, steak, and lobster at a price you can always afford. Ball spotted 6 yards in front of the goal for the goal kick by Dave Jokerst in the green jersey. Sends the ball across midfield. Waiting is Vaninger. The blue Max takes it off his chest. Back it goes down midfield to Bob O'Leary. He's run off the ball by Chris Bennett. Got it back again. Down the left side, past Trost. Sent on in deep by Joey Clarke. A race for the ball. Back after it now goes Gabriel. Hitches it back over his head. Comes out in front. St. Louis got it again, but McLaughlin finally winds up with it. Into the goalkeeper, Chersky. Good run by Vaninger, but Chersky got to the ball first and throws out to the left side to Gillett. Dave Gillett starts up the left wing now in his own defensive zone for the Sounders. Gillett sets the ball up, sends the long, deep ball in the middle looking for Jeffrey Hurst. Intercepted by Bob O'Leary. Got his foot up to the ball. Good job. O'Leary in the center circle. Pass to the right side to Jim Bokern. Fernandez cuts him off. He's channeled there by Dave DeRico. They double team. His pass to the right side to Verdi. After it goes Pepe Fernandez. Verdi kicks it down into the Seattle end. McLaughlin gets to the ball first and turns it back to the keeper. Chersky has possession and rolls the ball across in front of the Seattle net. The goal is 8 feet high, 24 feet wide. In case you're not familiar with soccer, that's the target they shoot at. 8 feet by 8 yards, if you want to remember it that way. Ball in the midfield area, taken now by St. Louis. Joey Clarke down the left wing, but it's intercepted, taken by Jenkins of the Sounders. Tommy Jenkins into the middle, now to Jimmy Gabriel. Gabriel playing in the back four tonight to Adrian Webster. Adrian the right back, ahead on the right wing, it goes to Tommy Jenkins, the midfielder. Jenkins taps into the middle now to Gabriel, beginning to press forward. Something on down the right side for Tommy Jenkins. Right on the touchline has the ball. Jenkins sends a high target ball in front of the penalty area. Up to head it goes Bennett, knocked away, cleared out of there now finally by St. Louis, by Pat McBride. In comes Webster, but he was knocked off the ball. St. Louis man is down and hurt. It's Trost. Down the left side with the ball for St. Louis goes Joey Clarke. Trost is up, but he's limping. Hurt his left shin. Here's a sliding tackle by Gabriel. It takes Clarke off the ball, but a foul on Jimmy Gabriel. Trost is limping, but he's up and he's back in the game. Soccer players are a pretty hardy bunch. They take the bangs, the bruises, and so forth, and they just come right back. Ball spotted just inside the 35-yard line out to the right side. Free kick for the St. Louis Stars. They have the lead by a score of 1-0. Here's the ball sent across in front of the Seattle goal. Headed up in the air. Battle for the ball. Vaninger heads. Good save by Chersky, and it's kicked off the side of the net. Joey Clarke trying to follow. Drove the ball off the side of the net. And the St. Louis fans thought they had one. Vaninger headed it. Chersky fisted it wide of the post, and Joey Clarke drove it against the left side, and it's still 1-0, and a goal kick cleared out. Bennett at midfield, overrun from behind, and a free kick for the Sounders at midfield. Ball spotted by DeRico for Tommy Jenkins. Jenkins, the tall young man from Swindon Town, sends it downfield, headed on in the middle by Bennett, off the chest of Carenza, the big defender, 6'4", 207 pounds. Long one down the right side to Vaninger. He's big at 6'2", about 195. Goes against Dave Gillett down the right side. Gillett beat him for the ball momentarily. Vaninger got it back. They battle in the corner. It's still Vaninger trying to get by Gillett. Does toward the flag. Gillett cuts him off again. He has him channeled. Ball spun out in front. After it, McBride couldn't get to it. Intercepted, taken by Jenkins, up to midfield to Jeffrey Hurst. Hurst turns the ball, taking it right on the belt buckle. Over midfield, Jeffrey Hurst dribbling the ball. Had trouble on the bumpy pitch, had it taken away. It hit somebody on the hand. No, he had a trip. Foul called against St. Louis, and the Seattle Sounders are going to have a free kick. Just in front of the center circle. Ball spotted there. Jimmy Gabriel coming forward to the ball, moving it a bit, getting it where he wants it, perhaps on a tuft of grass. The pitch is bumpy. It's not bad out in the middle, but on the sides it gets very rough. Gabriel sends the ball deep, going for the left post. There's Gillett to head it in front. Ball on the ground to Bennett. Couldn't control the ball. It goes to the goal line and out, and we'll have a goal kick for the St. Louis Stars. Summer soccer calls for all-star refreshment, and more fans are calling for ice-cold Pepsi-Cola than ever before. Nothing pushes back a thirst or calls in a grin like Pepsi, the happiest taste in cola. Okay, Jokerst with the ball for the goal kick, sends it on out. Gets it right back and will volley it down the field, across midfield, in the air, off the chest of little John McLaughlin. John drives it across into his own defensive zone, but we've got a foul called on the play. Let's see which way the foul goes, as Vaninger and McLaughlin got tangled up, and the foul is called on Vaninger. He and McLaughlin shake hands, and the foul in the midfield area is against number 9, Denny Vaninger. Gillett gives the ball to Jimmy Gabriel, a spot for the free kick. John McLaughlin, little guy, wears number 3 on the jersey. Here's the long drive downfield into the front of the penalty area. Ball on the ground. Pepe's after it. Pepe goes down. Goalkeeper comes out. It's headed in for a goal, and Les hold everything now. It's in the goal again, but let's see what the referee says. Chris Bennett headed it in, but I think he's going to stop that one and call a foul against Pepe Fernandez, perhaps, and disallow the goal. Bennett is down, and now we have everything stopped. So while we have play stopped and while we get this all sorted out, with the score still 1-0 in favor of St. Louis, we take timeout on this Seattle Sounders soccer broadcast. You know, one of the best values going is Stuart Anderson's Black Angus restaurants. They serve you complete steak dinners for only $4.95, and you just can't beat that anywhere. If you haven't been to a Black Angus restaurant lately, I suggest you give one of them a try and experience the relaxing surroundings, the warm, personable service, and an unforgettable dinner at a price you can always afford. Stuart Anderson's Black Angus restaurants with 9 convenient locations, one of the really nice things that can happen to your pocketbook. Black Angus. Goal was not allowed for Bennett, as Pepe Fernandez was called for a charging foul, and so that was a free kick out, and the ball is controlled by the Sounders again. Here's Pepe trying to bring it back in, knocked off the ball by Verdi. Verdi ahead to Trost. DeRico challenges him, but the ball goes to the left wing now, controlled by Joey Clarke. St. Louis Stars back now, foul called on Tommy Jenkins, overran Clarke and put him down, and play getting a little rough in both directions. St. Louis is a physical team anyhow, and the Sounders beginning to retaliate just a bit with the body, and I'm not sure that that's the way the Sounders want to go. Their game is the skill game. Long ball downfield, taken off the chest now by Adrian Webster. Webster head to his own 35 to Jenkins. Jenkins turns it back into the middle of the field to Jimmy Gabriel. Ball popped up. Jimmy does a nice dribbling job. Fake to go back, went by Trost up into midfield. His pass intercepted by Verdi. Verdi overran the ball. McBride came back to get it. McBride back to Rensing. Rensing off to the left side to O'Leary. O'Leary long pass down the left side looking for Joey Clarke. Intercepted there by Webster. Back to Gabriel. Gabriel ahead now to DeRico, and DeRico's pass to midfield comes to Jeffrey Hurst. Hurst in the center circle. Pass off to the right wing side. Goes to Jenkins. Tom forward along the right touch line over the 35, angling in toward the middle. Gives a pass through now to Bennett. Bennett down the right side, slides into the ball and drives it on goal, but it's saved by Jokerst. He had the angle well cut off, as Bennett went down the right side that time and really didn't have much of a shot as he drove one goalward. Here's Jokerst booming the ball upfield, taken by Jimmy Gabriel, back of the center circle to DeRico, down the left side looking for Butler, too far for him. Hausmann of St. Louis got it, back upfield it goes, then back to Butler off McLaughlin. Here's Butler in the middle of the field, off to the right of the center circle, it goes up near the 35-yard line, it goes to Bennett. He's run off the ball, is taken away, and here come the St. Louis Stars again. O'Leary down the left side goes his pass to Joey Clarke. Clarke along the left touch line over the 35, channeled by Adrian Webster, dribbling the ball, turns it in towards the middle, high crossing pass. Out after it comes McLaughlin, volleys the ball up into midfield to Pepe Fernandez. Pepe spins it by a defender, Carenza, front of the center circle going forward over the 35, pass for Butler. Ball almost stopped in the longer grass, cleared out by Pat McBride. Now here's Hausmann. Hausmann back up into midfield with a long ball for the St. Louis Stars to Vaninger. Vaninger to Trost over the 35, working in. Ball taken away by Gillett momentarily. Trost got it back. A battle for the ball. McLaughlin got it. Vaninger down the right side in front. A drive and a diving save by Chersky off the foot of Jim Bokern. Bokern had the shot, and Chersky made a super save diving into the ball. Ball comes forward again. Trost from 22. His drive smothered by Webster. Vaninger got it. Into the penalty area it goes. And we have a whistle on the play, and what do we have now? We have an offside. Offside called against the St. Louis Stars, and the Sounders will have a free kick coming. Can you save money with a Rainier Bank home improvement loan? Use it to insulate your house or buy a more efficient furnace and watch those fuel bills go down. Rainier Bank. Well, we have an injury on the field right now. A Sounder player is shaken up and is down. And so the score still 1-0 in favor of the St. Louis Stars in the second half. We take timeout on this Seattle Sounders soccer broadcast. Unbelievable. Dodge did it. The unbelievable new small Aspen for 76. Dodge did it by engineering a small car, incorporating the features you said were important in big cars. Dodge Aspen gives you the economy, the maneuverability, the roomy comfort, and big car ride. Dodge did it at a price that is unbelievable. Dodge did it with the all-new Aspen for 1976. Drive the Aspen, now available at your Dodge dealers. Adrian Webster back up on his feet. John Anderson, the trainer, had gone out for the Sounders. He sprints off the field now. Chersky had come to the sidelines meantime, and now number 1 in the red shirt runs back to his goal as the Sounders will have the free kick out of the penalty area following that foul. And it's still 1-0 in favor of St. Louis in the second half. Gabriel drives the ball high across midfield, almost to the 35-yard line, headed out by Verdi, goes way up in the air, battled for. Jenkins headed it up, looking for it as Fernandez, but Verdi slides into the ball, drives it over the touchline out of bounds. Throw in by the Seattle Sounders. Adrian Webster near his own 35-yard line, just in front of the 35 on the attacking right side. Throws into midfield to Bennett, got bumped from behind, but screens the ball off well. Redhead controls the ball, tried to get a pass off to Jenkins, still battling for it along the sidelines, taken away by Joey Clarke now for St. Louis. Clarke turns the ball toward the middle of the field. He got it by Jenkins, but Webster comes up from behind and kicks it over the stands and out of play. So the score 1-0 in favor of the St. Louis Stars. A reminder here that the Seattle Sounders' next game will be at home a week from tomorrow afternoon against the Portland Timbers at the Kingdome. We would expect for a league game against Portland a big crowd. Tickets will be on sale at the usual ticket outlet starting on Monday morning. Hope you'll be in the crowd of some 40 to 45,000 expected for the big game next Sunday afternoon, a week from tomorrow, 2 in the afternoon. Ball downfield to Vaninger. Here's a drive over everything and out of play. That ball went over the top of it all and goes for a goal kick. So the Sounders' Tony Chersky will have the goal kick now. 1-0 is the score in favor of the St. Louis Stars. We have 33 minutes remaining to play in the soccer match. Ball spotted in the front of the 6-yard box by the Seattle goal to our right, the north end. Run forward, Chersky sends the ball low upfield. McLaughlin couldn't get to it. Pat McBride did for St. Louis, touches it on with a head. Then it goes off Bokern and into the lower stands below us and is left-handed back by a young fan with a very good arm. Ball thrown back out, and a throw-in will be by Pat McBride, the captain of the St. Louis Stars, along the attacking right side at midfield. Here's the throw coming into Bokern. Jim Bokern with the ball along the midfield stripe, taps it back to Carenza. Carenza back of the center circle looking left, sends the long booming kick down the left side. Webster back after, lets the ball run a bit, and then half volleys it back out of there. Ball to midfield. Fernandez touches it on with the head, but it goes to Carenza again. He lost it over the touchline out of bounds. Seattle throw in. Sounders ball, a quick one down to the 35-yard line for Bennett, trying to break between two men. He did. Chris Bennett with the ball, 20 yards out in front. Bennett with the ball, runs it on to Fernandez, tried to drive it. That one's smothered by Trost. It's up in the air. Butler got a head to it. David Butler chases it down the left side. Defender Verdi got there. Butler knocked him over the ball, and Verdi went down, and Butler has a corner kick coming. Ball went off Verdi. Butler runs it to the left corner. Pretty nifty play by David Butler that time as he knocked Verdi into the ball and over the end line. Butler ready from the left corner. Here's the run. Here's the high ball deep out in front. Gillett's there. Put his head to it. It's on the ground. Rolling for the goal line. It will go across for a goal kick. When you get the gang together to listen to a Sounders game, don't serve them just any old chip dip. Bring out the best Dairy Gold Party Dip made with real sour cream from your Superstar Dairy. Ready for the goal kick by Dave Jokerst there in the green shirt. Here's the kick. High one coming to midfield. Waiting for it is Bennett. Missed the ball with the head as he went up. It's taken by Jenkins. Drives it ahead to Pepe Fernandez. Spins it into the attacking zone. Nobody open. Ball controlled by Verdi. Back to his goalkeeper, Jokerst, who picks it up and then throws out to Verdi on the left side. They like to do that if the space is open, and it definitely was as the Sounders dropped off that time. Verdi plays the long ball up into midfield for Vaninger. Blue Max sends it off to the left side now to O'Leary. Run off by Jenkins. Tommy turns back toward the midfield area. He got slammed down hard by McBride. Ball goes to DeRico. DeRico in the center circle. Long ball left side for Butler. He's not going to get to it. Way too far for David. Larry Hausmann got back, let it go out of bounds, and a throw in for St. Louis. 1-0. The Stars have the lead. Ball goes back to the goalkeeper, and Jokerst takes it back into the 18-yard box to volley it upfield. Here's the good long kick. He has a good leg. Last year they had Peter Bonetti back there, so he's got big shoes to fill. Gillett kicks the ball off the field and into the stands. Bounced off the front of the stands, and it's on the running track here at Francis Field. And, of course, the etiquette of the game is that you do not keep the ball when it goes in the stands in professional soccer. Well, any kind of soccer for that matter. All right, ready? McBride to throw down the right side. Got the ball deep to Bokern. Run off by McLaughlin. Good defensive play. Jimmy Gabriel out of there with the ball. He's run off by Al Trost, and a foul is called on Trost. Gabriel reactivated only this past week as a player after announcing that he would retire and become an assistant coach. So Jimmy perhaps is not match fit completely, but he is apparently set to go all the way in tonight's contest against the Stars, with St. Louis leading 1-0 on the penalty kick in the first half by Al Trost. Long one to midfield, headed back by Bokern, taken by Dave Gillett at the 35-yard line, Seattle end. Instep pass to the right, goes to Webster. Let it pop up in the air, back to Gillett. Gillett back of the center circle, sets it up, sends the long ball down the right side. Pepe Fernandez on a run with Verdi. Fernandez got in deep toward the corner. Verdi's back there with him. They battle for the ball. Verdi has it right now. Fernandez riding on him. It goes out. It'll be a goal kick. Fernandez deflected it out, and it will be a goal kick for Jokerst and the St. Louis Stars. Stuart Anderson's Black Angus restaurant serves famous quality steak and prime rib dinners for only $4.95. So after the game, get the spirit. Stuart Anderson's Black Angus restaurants at convenient locations and the best value going. Jokerst starts forward for the ball and changed his mind as Fernandez had cut off a passing lane he wanted out to the left. Now sends the ball instead directly up to midfield looking for Pat McBride. Bennett beat him for the ball, but we've got a whistle on the play, and I think a foul called on Bennett, who used an elbow to hold McBride down, push off, and go up over his back. So the foul is on Chris Bennett, acquired in a trade this week with the Vancouver Whitecaps. Vancouver got in exchange the North American Soccer League rights to Tommy Baldwin. Here's the long kick by Carenza, deep in front. Out comes the goalkeeper, fists it away from 18 yards in front, Chersky. Oh, he came way out into the crowd. Tell you one thing Chersky has, and that is courage. He really comes out into the mob scene. Here's the quick throw in now as the ball went off the field. It's thrown in by St. Louis in the attacking zone left side. Trying to work it on in. They have control. The ball is crossed in front. Bicycled up in the air, front of the 18-yard box. Headed goalward now and cut off on the bounce from Al Trost. Chersky took it chest high. Throws out to the left side to DeRico. Turns it back in towards the middle. Came by one man out over his own 35. Long pass up for Pepe Fernandez. Went by him and Verdi got it. Roger Verdi at the left side of midfield. Long pass down the left side now, headed out by Jimmy Gabriel for Seattle. To Fernandez, touched on off the head at midfield, but there's nobody in the open space for Seattle. St. Louis Stars have the ball again. Their big man Carenza, right foot kick, and he's got that great strong leg looking for Vaninger. Heads it into the penalty area. McLaughlin covers it there and sends it on back to the goalkeeper, and Chersky has the ball once again. Still a 1-0 game. St. Louis leads. 27.25 minutes left to play in the match. McLaughlin with the ball. Drive down the left side. Hurst couldn't get up to it. Defender did. Rensing sent it back out to Hausmann. Butler after him. The ball knocked loose. Forward comes Tommy Jenkins. Got the ball. Looking for Hurst with the ball on the ground, and Carenza intercepted. Now pass coming up into the midfield area. Ball controlled by Trost. Trost over to the left wing. Pass to Joey Clarke. Clarke over the midfield line. Down the left touch line. Channeled by Webster. Pass ahead to Trost going down toward the corner. He's run off. The ball knocked away, but it comes right back out to Clarke again. Once again, it's Pat McBride. He sends the high target ball in front. Race for it. Gillett won the ball in the air, headed it out. Ball on the ground, kicked wide of the Seattle goal. It was Bokern again who kicked it wide of the Seattle goal. Goal kick for Chersky. The Seattle Sounders versus the St. Louis Stars, and the game is brought to you by BBC Dodge in Seattle and the rest of the Puget Sound Dodge boys. See the new street van today. Chersky has the ball spotted, but he's doing something to the toe of his shoe now. And so while he's doing that, we'll take time for station identification and remind you that on radio you're tuned to KVI Seattle 570, and on television it is Channel 11 KSTW Tacoma, Seattle. Game coming to you as a simulcast tonight from Francis Field in St. Louis, Missouri. Tony Chersky ready for the goal kick. I love that sign on the fence down there. Here's the ball kicked to midfield. Ball is controlled along the left sidelines now by Joey Clarke. Clarke taps it into the middle. Ball taken by St. Louis. Forward comes O'Leary. O'Leary sets it up. Soft pass in the middle. Vaninger slipped. Couldn't get back to the ball. It's on the ground. McLaughlin slides into it. Got control. Back to Gillett. And Gillett has to kick it out of there under St. Louis pressure. Hurst touches it on with the head to the chest of Dave DeRico. DeRico in the middle for Pepe Fernandez. Let the ball go by him into the penalty area. Pepe goes with Verdi. Verdi went down. Fernandez got the ball. ball left side. It's headed up in the air, front of the penalty area by defender, headed out by Carenza. Bennett got the ball for Seattle. Outside the 35-yard line to Jenkins. Over to the left side to McLaughlin, pressing forward. John McLaughlin sets it up. Down the left side to Jeffrey Hurst. Hurst takes it by one man. Down the left of the penalty area. Sliding tackle, put it away and over the touchline. Sounders have a throw-in. Hurst quickly gets the ball into Tommy Jenkins. Jenkins at the 35 on the left side, working in around Trost. Has the ball in possession. It goes to DeRico. DeRico 20 yards out. Drives one on the ground. Jokerst gathers that one on the bounce, chest high with Butler right there. Jokerst holds on, then throws out to the right side to Larry Hausmann. 1-0 St. Louis scores on leads in the score on a first half penalty kick. Sounders have had the ball in the back of the net twice. Once Hurst on a direct free kick in the first half, and in the second half, Chris Bennett. But each time Seattle was ruled in violation and the goals called back. Ball goes to Vaninger, tries to drive one through. That's going to be wide of everything and go off the end of the field. And off it goes for a goal kick now for the Seattle Sounders. Sounders will have a goal kick coming. And it looks like we may have play stopped now while they run down the ball. No, hold everything. The referee looking up this way. Yes, we have a stoppage of play, and so with play stopped and the score 1-0 St. Louis, we take timeout on this Seattle Sounders soccer broadcast. You know, there are a lot of things in this life that are changing, but there are some things that shouldn't, like the honest enjoyment of getting yourself involved in a soccer match like this one. There's something else that shouldn't change, a great beer. Olympia never will. Year after year, Ole after Ole, you'll always get that crisp, clean taste like no other beer in America. So settle back, relax, and enjoy a couple of the things in life that'll stay the same. The excitement of this game and an ice-cold Olympia. Beer doesn't get any better. All right, ball in play and is kicked off the field, and the Sounders have it again. After the goal kick, it was kicked right back out. And so the Sounders have it. Gillett sends the ball up the right side to Pepe off his chest in midfield. Verdi got the ball. Fernandez battles him for it. St. Louis got control momentarily, got almost a wrestling match going for the ball. Now we do have a wrestling match as Webster put Joey Clarke down and almost pinned him. I don't know if he got a 2-point takedown on that one or not, but he had him on the turf. And it's a foul called on Adrian Webster and a free kick from just outside the 35-yard line on the attacking left side for the St. Louis Stars. Stars moving left to right in blue jerseys. Sounders defending at our right in white. Verdi forward. Roger Verdi, the Kenyan defender, sends it across. Jenkins heads it out of the defensive zone, but is taken there by Hausmann. Sends it right back in. Trost heads it on for Vaninger. It's on the ground. Ball is loose. Gabriel got it, and we have an offside called as Joey Clarke got in too deep. He went flying through. He went down. He was all right to that point, but then the ball came back in. And Joey Clarke was ruled as offside, and the Sounders have the free kick coming out. Seattle ball, St. Louis leads 1-0, 23.5 minutes to go in the match. Ball to midfield over Fernandez, and Verdi runs along the touch line and will go out, and it was touched by Verdi, so the Sounders have a throw-in. Just barely touched by Verdi. Pepe Fernandez, long throw down the right side for Jeffrey Hurst going into the corner. Marked down there by Gary Rensing. Rensing kicks the ball off the field, and Hurst will have a throw in 2 yards up from the flag. No room to run to the sidelines as this field was widened to 75 yards. It's one of the widest fields in the league now, but it doesn't leave any boundary around it between the fence and the field. Throw comes into Hurst at near post. Back it goes now. There's a drive in front by Jenkins. Ball is loose in the penalty area. Well, that was by Webster, rather. Comes back out, and McLaughlin lobs it back in. Deep, high ball, and Carenza goes and heads it out, but he knocked Gillett down when he was doing it. St. Louis controls the ball to Verdi. Up the left side to midfield to Al Trost. Trost drives the ball back down across the Seattle 35-yard line. A race for the ball, and a foul called on McLaughlin. A grabbing, holding foul on John McLaughlin, who came all the way across the field that time to make the play. Had his man by the back of the jersey momentarily. And Joey Clarke will take the free kick from 30 yards out at the left touchline. Clarke ready, will run laterally to the ball, send it high across the field, looking for Vaninger. Gillett beat him for the ball in the air, but Gillett went down. Ball goes back in the Seattle end now to Boris Bandoff, who's in the game, as Gabriel's still in. We'll check and see who's out. Bandoff is in the ball game. I think Jenkins is the man who came out. Leotard is also in. And I guess they came in during that break in play when the referee stopped play. Here's the ball taken away by Butler. It goes out, or by Jenkins rather. It goes out over the touchline, and we'll have a throw in for the St. Louis Stars. Pat McBride will throw in on the right side. Has the ball up overhead now. McBride throws hard into the middle of the field. Ball goes to Carenza coming forward. Drives a left footer just wide of the post. Just wide, and it'll be a goal kick. So a timeout for the Sounders. Make the most of it and head for a nice cold Ole, the great tasting beer that never takes a timeout. Some things never change. Olympia never will. Sounders with the ball at midfield to David Butler, trying to get by a man. Knocked away by Larry Hausmann and out of bounds. Sounders will throw it in. Butler, no, it went off Butler. McBride will throw in for St. Louis. The captain, Pat McBride, in the middle to Bob O'Leary, coming across the 35, watched by Bandoff. O'Leary angles to the right as Gillett comes out on him. Now it's O'Leary to the right side. Ball goes to Clarke, who's over on the right, changed from the left. He runs the ball down the touchline. Gillett stays right with him, knocked him down hard. And Gillett brings the ball out. Referee says play on. The fans didn't like that one. Ball in the middle to Tommy Jenkins. Jenkins sends a long left foot kick down the left side. No chance for Dave Butler. Ball goes down the field and over the touchline for a throw-in for St. Louis. Larry Hausmann will go back to get the ball. 1-0, the St. Louis Stars have the lead, playing on their home field. 20.5 minutes to go in the match. Here's the throw-in to John Carenza. Big fella drives it downfield in the middle, left-footed. Vaninger coming back to get it. Denny taps it back in midfield to Pat McBride. McBride starts forward on the right side. Watched by Jenkins. Drives the deep ball. Chersky coming out. Caught it. Right on the belly button that time, right there, in front of the red shirt, wrapped his arms around it. Could have made a fair catch on that one if it was in the rule book. Now Chersky with the ball starts forward once again. 15 yards in front of his goal, picks the ball up. He'll volley it from the 18-yard line, sends it very high up into the night sky. Ball across midfield. Verdi heads it back, but we've got a foul on Verdi. He went over Pepe Fernandez to get the ball, and so the free kick will be to the Seattle Sounders. Sounders ball. 19 minutes and 52 seconds left in the match. 1-0. St. Louis leads on that penalty kick by Al Trost. That came at 33-12 in the first half. Gabriel has the ball spotted on the right side. Almost everybody else pressed forward now into the penalty area. Here's the run. Jimmy sends the ball on deep, looking for somebody, a teammate. Hurst is after the ball, got it on the ground. Pepe has the ball out in front, back to Bandoff. He couldn't control. It's kicked away by Trost. Ball still on the field, and St. Louis has control. Back to get the ball went Clarke. Joey Clarke turns it into the goalkeeper, Jokerst, and Jokerst puts the ball on the ground and dribbles it across in front of his own net. 1-0, St. Louis Stars have the lead. Throw to Larry Hausmann out on the right side. Taps the ball forward to the right foot over the offside line out of his own defensive zone. Drives the long ball, curling in toward the middle. Vaninger tried to back heel it. Gabriel got a piece. Here's McBride breaking over the 18-yard line. Drives one, but is smothered away by Adrian Webster as Webster came all the way across the field to make a fine defensive play. Then the ball is finally knocked off the field in a scramble off the leg of John McLaughlin. So it'll be a throw in for McBride of St. Louis. Throws it back out towards midfield to Hausmann. Hausmann, the right back, coming up to the 35-yard line. Deep ball going across to far post. Chersky in the traffic, out and goes down on the ball. Oh, that Tony Chersky. He's been out there challenging anybody and everybody. Long one downfield. He threw the ball that time, got it out to midfield. Ball goes to Jeffrey Hurst, to Bandoff, to Fernandez, flying in on the left side, penalty area. Crossed it in front, just out of the reach of Jeffrey Hurst, coming in from far post, and the ball goes out, and it belongs to the St. Louis Stars. Hurst was coming from the right side that time, big number 11, the only man in the history of soccer to score a 3-goal hat trick in the championship final game of a World Cup tournament. He did it in 1966 as England defeated West Germany 4-2 at Wembley Stadium in London. Super player, not completely match fit yet. Here's the ball upfield. Gabriel forward. Missed it as he went up to try and hit it. Vaninger got it downfield. It's tapped on back. Backheeled by McBride for St. Louis to the left side. Taken by Bokern. Bokern wants to work his way in. Tried to cross it in front. It was deflected away by Leotard to Bandoff, back to Leotard. Now Bandoff flies through the center circle. Boris Bandoff coming across the 35-yard line. He's upset as he crossed the 35 by Carenza. Went flying through the air, made a crash landing, and a foul called on Carenza. The Sounders have a direct free kick. Sounders ball. Jeffrey Hurst and Tommy Jenkins stand at the ball, waiting for the wall to get set and the referee to say we're ready. Jenkins alone at the ball now as the whistle is sounded. It is 1-0 St. Louis. Now Jimmy Gabriel comes in. We have a meeting at the ball. Watch for something to perhaps happen right out of that. As Hurst now stands closest to the ball, 4-man wall has formed. Now here's Hurst touching the ball to Gabriel. Gabriel off to the right side. Now we have a whistle on the play, and we're going to have a card pulled out. Somebody's name is going to be taken. Somebody is going to be booked. And I think it's Denny Vaninger with a yellow card. Vaninger's name being taken as he got into the act a little soon that time and charged into one of the Sounder players involved in the play. I think Hurst. Ball spotted again. This will be a new free kick now, another foul. Ball is spotted. Wall is set. Direct free kick. Hurst nearest the ball. McLaughlin breaks away from him to his left. He has Leotard to his right about 8 or 10 yards. Wall pushed back. Hurst now ready. Jeffrey forward. Chips it over the wall. Jokerst out. Gathers it in as the Sounders couldn't get a man to the ball. The object that time was to drop it behind the wall and make a run around behind it and try to get an open shot. It's a play St. Louis likes to use as well, but the Sounders were not able to pull it off. 1-0, St. Louis still leads. Ball to midfield late in the second half. Down the left side it goes. Webster back after the ball. Had it kicked away by Joey Clarke. Goes off the field, and the Sounders will have a throw-in. Elliott Dog Ration has gone back to basics. They have developed a quality dry dog food at a very economical price. Do your pet and yourself a favor. Buy Elliott Dog Ration at your favorite supermarket. In St. Louis, the Sounders against the St. Louis Stars. 1-0. The Stars lead. 15:35 to go in the game. Clock running. Throw comes into Jimmy Gabriel. Turns it back to goalkeeper Tony Chersky. Tony beaten only once tonight on a 12-yard penalty kick by Al Trost in the first half. Sounders have had the ball in the net twice, but both disallowed. Ball to Pepe. Back heels it to the 35-yard line to Hurst. Run off by Rensing. St. Louis has the ball. Forward they come. This is Jim Bokern over the midfield line, left of the circle. Good sliding tackle by Leotard. Got it loose. Rensing got it back to Verdi on the left side. Roger Verdi forward for St. Louis. Got the ball by Leotard, but Jimmy Gabriel intercepted upfield. Now it comes to Tommy Jenkins. Jenkins back of the center circle. Got slowed up. Pass off to the left side to Bandoff. Bandoff over midfield. Bandoff challenged by one man. Got it by him. By another. Over the 35-yard line. Now a sliding tackle. Knocked it loose. Couldn't get it by Gary Rensing. St. Louis has the ball. Bob O'Leary has it. O'Leary, an instep pass up to midfield to Vaninger. Gillett put him down hard at midfield. Foul is called on Dave Gillett as the Blue Max went down. A big, strong young man, good soccer sense and very good in the air. And Gillett has done just a super job in defending against him. Although the one goal did come on a penalty kick when Vaninger was put down by Gillett during corner kick action in the first half. And it's 1-0, St. Louis still leading. Ball spotted for John Carenza just across midfield. Here's the drive, long, all the way to the goal mouth. Chersky out, fists the ball away, and we had a foul called as Chersky was knocked down. That one was called on Vaninger. Vaninger came charging in, took Chersky right on the chest that time, put the young Canadian keeper on his back, and the foul is called on Vaninger, and the Seattle Sounders now have the free kick. But St. Louis still has the lone goal that counts. Here's the long, low drive over midfield, headed by Trost. That one must have smarted a bit as it goes off the side of the field. You know it must have hurt a little bit because Trost had no control over the ball. He just struck it with his head. Jeffrey Hurst back now to Leotard. Hank Leotard right of the center circle, works his way back. Pass across the field to Jimmy Gabriel. Gabriel sets the ball up in the defensive zone. Side foot tap goes to Gillett. Gillett working forward, back of the circle. Runs a long one down the right side to Pepe against Roger Verdi. Fernandez just outside the 35-yard line. Starts in toward the middle. Fernandez chips a pass out in front to Butler. Butler 18-yard line going to his right down the right of the penalty area. Watched by Hausmann. Butler crosses the ball. Goes over everything out of play, and it will be another goal kick. Want to paint a room or add a room? Rainier Bank has home improvement loans for every project around the house. Rainier Bank. Here at St. Louis, Bob Robertson, and a reminder once again that on Monday morning, tickets will be on sale at all the usual ticket outlets for the Seattle Sounders for that great big North American Soccer League match between arch rivals Seattle and Portland. Several thousand fans we know are coming from Portland for that one. They've already filled up all available train space. And there will be thousands of Portland fans on hand a week from tomorrow afternoon. Hope you'll be there to root for the Sounders against the Portland Timbers Sunday afternoon, April 25th, 2 p.m. in the Kingdome. Super match that afternoon. St. Louis Stars with the ball, O'Leary. Sliding tackle by Leotard, knocked it loose, but it goes to Pat McBride. McBride with the ball back on the left side to Al Trost. Trost, 35-yard line, deep target ball. Chersky out, Vaninger there. Chersky got the ball and went down, but he cuddled the ball as he went down to protect it, and now throws out to the right side to Leotard, coming back to meet the play from midfield. Hank Leotard starts up on the right side. Long ball, looking for Hurst down the right side. Touches it on in the middle. Nice play to Fernandez. Over to the left to Butler. Dave drives one, fisted over the top for a corner kick. Oh, good drive by the Sounders and a good save by Jokerst. Hurst cleverly heading the ball to Fernandez, who passed to the left wing to Butler, who got the shot. And it was a dangerous try by the Sounders. They couldn't convert it. Corner kick now from the left corner. David Butler will take it. Fernandez crowding in front of the goal. as Jokerst will defend. Butler in the left corner forward, sends the ball high, well out in front. Everybody up to head it. Ball goes to the right, goes to Jimmy Gabriel. Gabriel tried to lob it in front. It was headed away, goes out. It'll be another corner kick for the Sounders as the defender got his head to that one and put it out once again. So the ball belongs to the Sounders for a corner kick down in the right corner now. Ball being spotted by the flag. Ready for the corner, it's Gabriel. Jimmy ready to come forward, sends the ball out in front, high target ball. Hurst to head it on the ground. Ball is loose out in front. Bandoff took it off a hip. It bounced away, rolls on the ground to Jenkins. Jenkins down the right side to Gabriel, lobs it in front again. Gillett heads the ball right to the chest of the goalkeeper. Gillett, the center back, playing forward on the corner kick, stayed right in there and got his head to the ball, but Jokerst was on the spot and made the save on his line. Still 1-0 St. Louis, 11:10 to go in the match. Jokerst with the ball started to throw it. Now instead will kick the ball high across midfield. Waiting for it there, several players, but it goes over everybody. McLaughlin goes down as Vaninger goes after it. We're going to have a dangerous play call against McLaughlin. He got the foot above his head, which was just about number high on 6'2" Denny Vaninger. But the foul was called for having his foot up above his shoulder. Dangerous play and a free kick indirect for the St. Louis Stars. Ball spotted. And forward comes the big man, Carenza, sends it spinning into the goal area. Chersky out to fist it hard away. Leotard kicks it over the 35-yard line. Pepe heads it on in midfield. Pepe into the center circle, getting by Verdi. Out of the center circle, Fernandez pulled down as the ball goes back into the defensive zone for St. Louis. No call on the play as Fernandez went down, and the ball is controlled by the St. Louis Stars. 10 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in the match. Sounders trail 1-0. They'll play Portland in the Kingdome next Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, and Vancouver in the Kingdome the following Sunday, May 2nd at 2 o'clock. Ball downfield, taken off the chest now by Vaninger at the 35-yard line, taken away momentarily by Leotard. Trost got it in midfield, sends it deep into the Seattle zone on the left side. Headed back, but O'Leary got the ball at the 18-yard line, tried to get it to McBride. It's knocked away, taken down the left side by Joey Clarke. Clarke battles down into the left-hand corner, tried to center it out to Trost, left side of the penalty area. Trost lobs it in front. It's kicked in front now. Loose ball, drive, and scored! Al Trost, I think, again. Out of a scramble around the Seattle goal, and I think that was Al Trost who got St. Louis's second goal with about 9:40 to go in the game. Al Trost, I believe, will get credit for the goal out of the scramble in front. It came in from the right side as the blue-shirted Stars swarmed the Seattle penalty area. And I believe it was Al Trost, number 12, who got the foot to it finally and drove it low and by Tony Chersky into the net. So the Sounders, with just about 9 minutes to go now, are 2 goals down and a long way to go here in this first game. We have a foul called in the midfield area against St. Louis, against Vaninger. Jenkins will take the free kick, left-footed, sends it deep to Hurst, touches it on with the head in front of the goal. Ball will be gathered up by Jokerst, the goalkeeper. Jokerst has it. Yep, Al Trost is announced as the goal scorer. And we'll see who got the assist on it as Jokerst clears the ball out. Clarke, I believe, got an assist on it. The ball is kicked out, goes off the field, over the fence, and the Sounders will have a throw in. John McLaughlin will throw it in for the Sounders. 2-0 St. Louis leads now, fairly late in the game, inside the final 9 minutes. Back to Dave Gillett. Gillett from his own 35-yard line starts forward. Gillett back of the center circle, sends a low pass down the right side looking for Fernandez. Couldn't get to the space, however, and Carenza, the big defender, sends it up the field. The goal came at 80-20 in the 81st minute. Trost from Bokern and Clarke. And here come the St. Louis Stars again. Bokern, he's overrun by Webster, and they both go down in the fouls on Adrian Webster. Stars have a free kick coming, 42 yards out and almost in the middle of the field. As they're getting the ball spotted, Carenza likely will come forward to take the free kick. 7:47 to go in the match, clock running. Carenza, the big man. Here's the ball downfield deep. Gillett goes high to head it out over Vaninger. It's taken on the chest by Trost, sets it up, drives a volley, a spinning shot, and Joey Clarke got a piece of it but shot it by the post. Clarke was there but couldn't quite make it to the ball. If you want to make points with a family, bring home Dairy Gold's flavor of the month, caramel walnut ice cream, at your grocers now from Dairy Gold, your superstar dairy. Clarke got a piece of the ball, but he wasn't there in time to get a real solid piece. And the ball is kicked out now by the Seattle Sounders. Goes to Pepe Fernandez up in the attacking area. Fernandez working to the right side over the 35. Verdi kicked the ball away. It bounced off Fernandez. Then off a defender. Goes out, and the Sounders have a throw-in. Adrian Webster will throw in along the right touchline, deep to Pepe Fernandez, 20 yards up from the goal line on the right side. Pepe working the ball along the touchline, bringing it back out towards the 35, back to Hank Leotard. Leotard starts to the right. He has Pepe right there with him, the two of them on the right touchline. Back out into midfield to Jenkins. Jenkins working toward the middle of the field now, goes between two men, gave a kind of a push-off, got pushed in return. We've got a foul. Play goes right on, however. Down the right side it goes now. Ball goes to Hurst, almost to the goal line. He banked it off a defender, Verdi. It goes over the line and will have a corner kick. Corner kick for the Sounders. Score 2-0 St. Louis. Fernandez there to take the corner. Pepe ready. Forward, here's the kick, left-footed, high across in front. Gabriel up to head it over the goalkeeper. Jokerst got a piece of it and went down. Defender clears it out over the touchline, over the fence and off the field. So the throw-in will be by Seattle. Boris Bandoff, acquired from San Jose, to Gabriel, headed back to Bandoff. Run off the ball by Pat McBride. McBride starts out to midfield on the right side. Sends a pass down the right side to Joey Clarke. Had trouble controlling, lost it right in front of the Sounders bench. It goes out. Bandoff will throw it in if he can find an open man. Bandoff gets the ball back to Dave Gillett, Seattle 35-yard line. Gillett sets the ball up, sends the low ball downfield off the foot of Pat McBride. Here come the St. Louis Stars. A 1-2 pass back to McBride on the right side. Long one down the right side to Clarke. Clarke down the right touchline. Gabriel goes with him. They go to the goal line. It goes off the end of the field and then is kicked out of sight behind the goal. So it'll be a goal kick for the Seattle Sounders, as Chersky waits for the ball to be returned by the young fans behind the goal. 2-0 St. Louis leads. Sounders had the ball in the net twice. It was called back both times, once on an offside on a direct free kick, the other time for a charging foul on Pepe Fernandez, who went into the goalkeeper before Chris Bennett put the ball in the back of the cage. Ball to midfield to Jeffrey Hurst, wedges it onto the ground, pass off to the left side to Butler. Butler starts to work forward down the left side, channeled there by Hausmann, challenged. Butler tries to explode by him, good acceleration, sends the ball across in front. Jokerst dives to cut that one off on the ground, as Pepe Fernandez was right there to stand over him to watch that ball come. Jokerst rolls out now to his right. Gets the ball right back as Butler threatened to get into the passing lane that time. 4.5 minutes to go in the game. 2-0 St. Louis leads. Stars, who got just 1 point out of their loss to San Antonio earlier this week in their opening game, looking at an 8-point game right now. We almost got a fight going as Adrian Webster and Jim Bokern squared off, and cooler heads, including Jimmy Gabriel, jumped in between to push them back away. They had a collision right at the Seattle 35-yard line. They both sort of went down, partway down, and they bounced up and squared right off. Jim Bokern of St. Louis, Adrian Webster of Seattle, and the referee now, Peter Johnson of Windsor, Ontario, has stepped in. Says, all right, let's just cool it down, no cards out. And Dave Gillett will take the free kick just outside the 35-yard line. 3:46 to go. Sounders trail 2-0. Gillett ready, forward, here's the kick. Long, low, downfield, headed into the middle. Leotard got the ball, 35-yard line. Back heels a pass to Jenkins. Jenkins out in the middle, 40 yards out. Jenkins forward to the 35, up to Bandoff. Bounced off him, but Bandoff got it back. He's strong. Around one man, angling to the left side, down the left wing to Butler. Butler sends a crossing pass to Pepe. Got a foot into it, but couldn't control it. Goes right to the goal line, missed everything. Kicked out of there by Hausmann. Taken by Jenkins. He's run off the ball now. St. Louis ball, bringing it out is Joey Clarke. Clarke from the center circle. To the left wing it goes. Long pass for Bokern after the ball, but could not control it. Goes out, and the Sounders have a throw-in. 3:04 to go, 2-0 St. Louis. Sounder throw comes back to Jimmy Gabriel. Nice dribbling job to take it around one man. Sends it up to midfield. Intercepted briefly there, but the Sounders got it. Jenkins got the ball and stomped on a St. Louis player. Now Trost goes after Jenkins, who throws a left-hand punch. And here comes Carenza. If there's a policeman, Carenza is it. He's 6'4", 207 pounds, and the referee steps in amongst them, and that's a brave act. The St. Louis player bumped Jenkins hard from behind and went down. Jenkins ran right over him and stomped on him as he went by, and then the altercation broke out, and we've got a red card. Jenkins is gone. Tommy Jenkins is sent off by the referee with 2:24 to go. Red card for Tommy Jenkins. Sounders Soccer is being brought to you by Stuart Anderson's Black Angus Restaurants, famous for quality steak dinners. prime rib, steak, and lobster at a price you can always afford. Black Angus. Jenkins appealing the call that has seen him sent off now as the clock continues to run. Tommy walking off the field to the far side. That's the direction of the locker room, and the Sounders down 2-0 will finish up a man short, as Jenkins, for stomping on the St. Louis player who was down, was the man who was deemed to have committed the most flagrant foul out of all of that, and he is gone. So the St. Louis Stars will have possession of the ball wherever it has gone. Oh, there it is. Roger Verdi has it. So while we're getting ready to get the ball back in play here with just over a minute and a half to go, we'll remind you that watching the Sounders can generate a big thirst. Ice-cold Pepsi-Cola knocks it down and turns the grins back on. Next time you're playing hard, team up with Pepsi, the happiest taste in cola. Join the Pepsi people, feeling free. Well, that's not a bad idea. Ball's at midfield. Ice has melted, though. It's warm enough in St. Louis that the ice has melted. I understand things are not quite that warm back in the Northwest, but, well, can't win them all, I guess. All right, Carenza ready. Less than a minute to go as the clock ran through all of that. Here's the long ball downfield, 2-0 St. Louis. Gabriel heads the ball away, and it's on the ground, taken by McBride. He tried to send it across in front for Vaninger and couldn't. It's kicked away by Webster out in the midfield area. Carenza sends it right down into the Seattle end again, but we had a foul called on the play way over at the sidelines in the twilight, and the Sounders will have the advantage of that one as the foul was against the St. Louis Stars. Not much advantage. We only have a half a minute to go in the game as referee Johnson tries to get it all sorted out now and cool it down. Dave Gillett will kick the ball out. Sounders playing a man short as Jenkins was sent off. Here's the kick, long and high, 2-0 St. Louis. They're going to win this opening match at home and please their fans. Ball goes to the sidelines, sent along the left side by Joey Clarke. A race for the ball. Adrian Webster got there first at the 35. Clarke is on his back. Foul on Clarke, but that's not going to help. 2 seconds left on the scoreboard clock. Referee keeps the official time on the field. He has just checked his watch. Says there's a little bit to go. Here's Gillett again for the free kick, and there's the whistle, full time. The game is over, and the St. Louis Stars have defeated the Seattle Sounders by a score of 2-0 here at Francis Field in St. Louis, Missouri. Final score, the St. Louis Stars, Al Trost getting both their goals, 1 in each half. The Stars 2, the Seattle Sounders no score. So the